Something is killing the children. Intro. Our fears give birth to a lot of things, but what if those things could haunt your waking life? What if those fears could manifest themselves and prey on not only you, but those around you? And the worst part? What if those things were invisible and the only one coming to help you is also destined to kill you, to keep a very dark secret hidden? Let's answer all these questions and some more in the critically acclaimed comic Something is Killing the Children. Oh, and a small request. Consider becoming a member through the link in the description. It helps us in ways you can't imagine, and we'll soon start launching uncensored videos for members. And now, let's begin! Something is Killing the Children, Epilogue, in the Wake of Death. Our story starts in a rural grocery store where an 8-year-old Sarah, the victim of a recent horrific attack, is joined by a rather peculiar-looking policeman with scars on his left eye. Coincidentally, Sarah too has a bandaged left eye. Sarah doesn't trust that he's a policeman, but her parents have asked her to comply with his requests, which is why she is here right now, answering his questions, with an untouched ice cream in her hand. She isn't going to eat it because she isn't allowed sweets before dinner, and this is when the real interrogation begins. We learn that Sarah isn't allowed to tell the truth because she promised a mysterious person to keep everything hidden. And although 4 children are dead, this mysterious entity has promised her that there will be no more deaths. But this is when the interesting thing happens. The mysterious man already knows who she's talking about, and Sarah's talking about Erica Slaughter. The revelation of this fact makes Sarah slip up and mention the monsters, and we learn that she is missing an arm, and in her initial reports to the police, she had mentioned that a monster was responsible for the attack. The ice cream in her hand is now dripping onto the table, and this reflects her current mental state. She doesn't know what she is supposed to say anymore. She promised Erica that she wouldn't tell anyone about the monsters, yet this man seems to know everything about them and her. He continues to interrogate Sarah, and through a flashback, we see Erica visiting Sarah in the hospital. Erica had implored Sarah to make the promise she currently upholds, and had then revealed to her everything about the monsters. She had told Sarah that the monsters were real, told her that only kids could see them, and had then shown her the tattoo on her right wrist, the mark of the Order of St. George. Erica had revealed to Sarah that she was a hunter and worked for an organization that hunts and kills monsters. Erica has bright green eyes in the flashback, and after revealing all of this to Sarah, she goes on to ask her for help in killing the monster in the woods. We then switch back to the present, where it is revealed that Sarah disappeared from the hospital after Erica's visit. She knows her parents are still mad at her for doing so, but this is when the mysterious policeman confides in her. He tells her that he believes adults underestimate children. They are supposed to be protectors, yet when they fail to protect in the face of unknown threats, they tend to be harsh in an attempt to show that they are still in control. This is contrasted by a family of 3 exiting the grocery store, and when the kid tries to pretend an unseen force is stealing his ice cream, he is slapped and reprimanded for his actions. Sarah doesn't understand the man, but we then see the real reason he tried to sympathize with Sarah. He knows she was out in the woods with Erica for days, and he knows that Sarah sympathizes with Erica because the 2 of them share the same opinion about adults. We then see another flashback, and in this, Sarah is woken up by the sound of Erica arguing with someone over the phone. She was talking to another Order member, and she was being criticized for getting Sarah involved in the hunt. There was desperation in Erica's voice, and bringing Sarah along was a desperate move. Although Sarah would forget about the monsters like any other kid, she wouldn't forget Erica, which was going to be a problem. But Erica had no other choice. She couldn't let more children die, and this is when the mysterious man at the other end of the phone call threatened to tell about Sarah's involvement to someone named Cecilia, and this made Erica very angry. She threatened the man and then ended the phone call, but the damage was done, and she was at the verge of ripping her hair out. But then a mysterious voice grounded her and asked her to sleep. It was the voice of her stuffed octopus, an eerie yet cute stuffed toy that told her to get some sleep. But it seems Erica doesn't trust the octopus, and instead of listening to it, she simply cracked her back and slumped down onto her knees. And so the conversation with her stuffed octopus carried on, and we learn that Erica is someone too precious to the Order. This is why they won't chastise or punish her for her unconventional ways. But Erica also knows she is pushing herself and won't stop until she destroys herself. The octopus cryptically says that she has seen the end of the road, and Erica sighs and agrees with him. We then see Sarah crawl out of the tent and ask Erica about the octopus. Erica shrugs off the subject by telling Sarah not to trust the octopus. She then apologizes to Sarah for keeping her up late at night, but the kid doesn't mind it. Instead, she hugs Erica and thanks her for saving kids like her. This is when we cut back to the present day when Sarah has had enough of the mysterious man's questions. She wants to leave, but her request is blatantly denied. Sarah thought her parents were in the parking lot, but that isn't true. The lot is abandoned, and now that the two of them have some privacy, the mysterious man reveals that Erica is in trouble. He then asks what happened during the fight, and Sarah reveals that she was sitting outside because Erica didn't want her to get involved. Erica had simply finished the job and returned to Sarah after a few hours. But during those hours, Sarah could hear everything: the slashes, the fight, and most of all, the monster, as it wailed to its death when Erica stabbed it in the head. But this is when the man's demeanor changes. He begins to become more and more psychotic and erratic as he learns about Erica's deeds. She is remarkable for having killed the monster all on her own while keeping Sarah at bay. And this is when he loses control and says, "Every story I hear about her is quite remarkable. Knowing that, it'll be hard to put her through what we'll need to put her through. I don't know how she'll react. Isn't it exciting?" Sarah is left speechless, and she can't help but notice the similarities between the psychotic look on the man's face and the look on Erica's face the moment she had returned after killing the monster. Erica had simply walked out of the woods, ignored Sarah, and chugged down water like her life had depended on it. She had told Sarah that the job was done, and that is when she had received a phone call from St. George. It was her next job in Archer's Peak. Erica scribbled down the words on her arm and then cut the call. She then went with Sarah to her home for a shower as the kid learned that the world was filled with monsters because Erica already had another assignment. Back in the present day, Sarah is screaming at the mysterious man to leave Erica alone, and this is when the man reveals that he has been following Erica around for quite some time now. She's in trouble, yes, but he doesn't plan on killing her. In fact, he wishes to remain hidden and help Erica in a way that is yet unknown to her. This is when Sarah begins screaming for her mother. She wants to go home, but her mother is nowhere to be seen. The smile on the mysterious man's face grows wider as he tells Sarah that she should forget her parents. Her life is about to change, and this is when Sarah loses consciousness and drops on the ground like a dead corpse. This is when the man removes his purple handkerchief with teeth printed on it and wears it just like Erica and the mysterious man that she was talking to. He takes out his phone and then says in French, "This is Victor St. George with word to the Dragon King. I've finished my vetting. Suspicions were correct. Erica Slaughter is a prime candidate, more resilient than her mentor. Time to begin the trials." Before I continue further into the dark abyss, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Marvelous Long Reads, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our explorations of the most extraordinary and chilling comics out there. And now, back to the story. Something is Killing the Children, issue number 1, Grave Assumptions. The comic begins by showing us a group of pre-teens playing Truth or Dare during a sleepover. The group consists of Carl, Tyler, Noah, and James. It's James's turn, and he has just chosen Truth. Tyler is the one asking questions, and he demands James to narrate his most scary experience. This is when James lets his imagination take over and ends up painting a harrowing picture of a monster that he saw come out of the ravine near his backyard. James was supposedly alone that night, and when the monster came out, it let out a loud, horrific moan. It was supposedly as tall as a tree, just standing there in the backyard, blending in until it started moving. With long fingers, sharp teeth, and unsettling eyes, James's narration is so convincing that it ends up sending shivers down everyone's spine. James continues the story by narrating how he hid under the blankets, and when he got out, the monster was long gone. It's clear that the rest of them are scared, but because none of them want to admit it, they start blaming James for making the story up. Noah is the most vocal one, and when he begins to poke holes in James's story, the latter looks him straight in the eyes and says, "Okay then, Noah, truth or dare?" This is when the scene shifts. James's expression changes, but the narration remains the same. He is now at the police station, recounting events that happened next. Here, in front of the officers, he blatantly admits that he made up the story and did so because he had never been on a sleepover and wanted the boys to like him. He had been down in the ravine late at night, but nothing had happened before, so why now? Why now? The monster wasn't real. James had just made it up. He begins to sob and wail, and then he finally breaks down as he gets caught in the loop of saying, "The monster wasn't real," again and again. James and his friends supposedly went into the ravine when he dared Noah. James slipped on a wet root and fell in the yard, and by the time he caught up with his friends, something horrific had happened. The officer interrogating him calms James down and implores him to continue the story. James starts by recounting how he heard the screams first, but this is when the scene abruptly cuts and we time jump 2 weeks ahead of these events. This is when Sarah was in the forest with Erica and all the events of the previous comic occurred. Sarah waited outside as Erica walked out of the forest, covered in blood after killing the monster. She chugged down a bottle of water and then got the assignment to head to Archer's Peak. We then catch up with James again 2 weeks later. He is entering his school and a memorial for Noah, Tyler and Carl is placed on the footsteps. He stares at the photos of his dead friends longingly when he is suddenly ambushed by another student named Dan, who is accompanied by his friend. Through Dan's allegations, we learn that the entire town thinks that James murdered his friends. Dan blames James for killing his friends and then blames him for killing Robbie, someone that wasn't even present for the sleepover. His friend drags away Dan as he continues to call James gay and perverted under his breath. This is when James loses control and screams for Dan to shut the fuck up. Naturally, he is dragged to the principal's office the very next second, but thankfully, Principal Collins is quite understanding. He sympathizes with James and takes his side. What Dan said according to him was criminal, and he is surprised that James didn't beat the hell out of him. Through his conversation with James, we learn that things are quite dire in Archer's Peak. 9 kids have turned up dead in the last 2 weeks, and the sheriff's leading theory is that there's a rabid bear in the area. Principal Collins offers James the day off, but he stays at school and attends his classes instead. They'll be showing movies during the English class, and James loves movies. He already knows there's no escaping from what happened, so he might as well start facing it. We then see Erica arrive at Archer's Peak, and as soon as she gets off the bus, she is face to face with a board full of posters of missing children. At least 3 dozen kids have gone missing from the town, and while she is staring at the posters, the sheriff gets curious and asks her if she knows any of the kids. Without breaking a sweat or her gaze, Erica shrugs away his question and walks away. We then see James standing in the school parking lot alone. The school is over, everyone has left, and the message from his father doesn't bring any good news either. We learn that the family has moved into a hotel room to avoid the press. His father will be working late today, so he won't be able to pick him up. He asks James to get to the hotel room safely and ensure the door has been locked twice. Once the message finishes, James stares into the distance longingly when Erica suddenly approaches him. Just like Sarah, she promises to believe James no matter what he says and asks him what really happened that night, the night Tyler, Noah and Carl were killed. The 2 of them sit on the ground in the lot, and James finally opens up after some convincing and genuine persuasion. He tells Erica that when he tried to catch up with his friends upon slipping, all he could hear was screams, which scared him. He began screaming for his friends, and that is when a blood-covered Noah began crawling toward him. James tried to help him. He pulled Noah towards himself, and that is when Noah grabbed his collar and begged for his help before succumbing to his injuries and passing away. This is when James saw that Noah was missing his legs, and his whole world turned upside down. James ran away only to then be confronted by Carl's half-eaten body. His limbs were missing, and there was a gaping hole in his torso as though it had been the result of a shark bite. James backed up, slipped on blood, and dragged himself to a nearby tree, and this is when Tyler was slammed into the ground in front of him by an unseen force. Tyler begged for James's help as mysterious black limbs held him down, and all James could do was scramble and cower behind the tree. That is when he saw the monster, black like the void, made of nothing but darkness. It had 10 eyes on each side of its face, a large gaping mouth with hundreds of teeth, and a body that was a hybrid between a spider, an octopus, and a crab. It screamed into the night as it tore Tyler's body in half, and James watched watched his friend get ripped open like a fortune cookie helplessly. The story is over, and after a minute of sitting in silence together, Erica thanks James for opening up. That is when her phone rings, and she curses at her people for calling her at the most inopportune moments. She picks up the phone and says, "Class E7, Archers Peak, Wisconsin. Yeah, I've got it handled." This is when James begins to question Erica. Who is she, and what does she mean by saying that she's got it handled? This is when Erica lays it out for James. There's a monster in the woods and she will kill it. James looks into the distance, and instead of questioning or doubting Erica, he turns towards her and simply says, "Can I help?" Something is killing the children. Issue number 2, Unseen Terrors. At 10 a.m. the next day, Tommy wakes up and switches off the alarm. On his bedside is a missing child poster of his sister, and we see that the entire house has been in disarray since she went missing. Tommy has been doing his best to maintain some semblance of routine, but his mother has completely lost herself, which is more than understandable. It has been a week or two since her 12-year-old daughter Sophie went missing, and she has been smoking like a chimney ever since. She forces Tommy to put out missing posters every day, and just like every day, he can't deny her request today. It's all she has. After all, neither her husband nor the sheriff has found any reliable leads. Tommy leaves for work with a bunch of missing posters for Sophie in tow. We see his demeanor break when he approaches the car, but he is suddenly distracted by a loud grunt. Tommy turns around but remains unfazed as the monster terrorizing the town towers right over his car with blood leaking from his mouth. It seems that Tommy can't see the monster. We then see Erica and James head into the town's Applebee's, a restaurant chain that is a parody of the real-life Applebee's. We then learn that Tommy is the manager of this restaurant as Erica approaches him. Erica wants to rent the corner booth for the next few days. She will pay him $50 each day, and she will order stuff and tip as well. All Tommy has to do is to make sure her stuff in the booth remains untouched. Tommy tries to deny her initially, but Erica has done this numerous times. Applebee's isn't exactly a place that experiences rush hour, and who will deny free $50 each day in this economy? Tommy smiles, and James and Erica head to their booth. Erica pulls out her octopus, her research material, and then a town map. She forbids James from asking questions about the octopus, and as they continue to talk, we learn that James was in love with Carl, but his feelings weren't reciprocated. Erica tells James that it's normal to fall in love and have your heart broken when you're young, but that is when the restaurant server interrupts them and asks what they would like to order. Erica orders a lager and a coffee. James also tries to order a lager, but Erica shuts him down and orders him a soda instead. He throws a hissy fit, and Erica finally allows him to also have coffee. Once the server is gone, they begin staring at the map again, and this is when James asks Erica, "Have you done this kind of thing before? You're acting like you've done this kind of thing before." This is when memories flash through Erica's mind, and we see her killing various monsters, decapitating their bodies like a shredder, sometimes using a chainsaw and other times using her blades, or in rare cases, guns. Erica has killed many monsters, and it's time to add one more to the tally. She asks James to point out his house on the map, and this is when we see the server and Tommy having a conversation. The server knows James, and like the entire town, she believes he murdered Carl, Noah, and Tyler. Tommy grows suspicious because neither of them has seen Erica in the town before. Erica and James, meanwhile, have marked all the deaths on the map. 3 died near James's house in the ravine, 2 died in the woods off of Pikes Creek, 2 more in the Potawatomi cabins, and 1 was found floating by the Nicolay boathouse. That marks the 9 official deaths publicly reported by the authorities, but Erica suspects that there have been more because 14 children from the town have gone missing, and marking where they went missing is going to be the hard part. She starts by trying to ask James where the first person on her missing children's list lived. Sophie Mahoney is Tommy's sister, and this is when he approaches them and shows them exactly where his house is on the map. He tries asking them what they're doing here, but Erica doesn't say a word, and she forbids James from revealing anything. But Tommy doesn't leave. He continues to press her and gets angrier with each question. She sighs and asks James to take her bag outside, but this is when James slips. Her bag slams on the table and the knife in it slides out. Tommy tries to be a detective and speculates speculates that Erica might be the murderer, but this isn't what flips her off. Tommy putting his hands on Erica is what flips her off. She turns around, slams Tommy's face into the table, and holds him in a shoulder lock. She tries to tell him that she isn't the bad guy here, but Tommy isn't about to be convinced. She allows James to leave, and once he is gone, Erica tells Tommy that their arrangement is over and that he won't see her face again. She allows him to keep the $50, but Tommy throws the money in her face as she walks out. On the way out, the server tries to question James. She says, "Hey kid, what is it? You in some kind of Satan cult thing? You cut their heads off and do weird shit with their bodies?" And James is just baffled by this question. The reality of people's imagination running wild is now dawning on him, but thankfully, Erica saves him from the situation by dragging him out. We then see Tommy call the sheriff and report everything, and on the outside, Erica decides to part ways with James. She asks him to go home, but this doesn't mean he won't get to help her. She just needs to do the next part of this process alone. This is when she gets a call and is once again reprimanded for blowing things over. She knows her mistake and cuts the call after making an excuse, and this is when James asks her, "Who do you keep talking to, Erica?" "An asshole. I keep talking to an asshole." She then sighs, turns around and sympathetically tells James to not be afraid. She tells him that if he is questioned, he shouldn't lie. He should tell them the truth. He should tell them exactly what has happened up until this point in time. We then see that James is smarter for his age because he has already figured out why he can tell the truth. It's because no matter what they do, the world is going to think that they are crazy either way. Erica then returns to the motel she is staying in, and we see that the owner already suspects she will get into trouble, unfazed. Erica steps into her room, locks the door behind her, and pulls out her octopus. Her eyes go wide as she begins speaking to it. She talks to it as if it was someone who has also witnessed everything that happened in the past 2 days. She has one job for him. The monster is Class E7. The missing children mean that it is stashing food, and this means that it is hiding in some of the caves in the woods. A monster of this class can be dangerous, so she needs the octopus to figure out what kind of monster it will be before she goes looking for it in the next few days. This is when the octopus replies to her with a disembodied voice and tells her that he will get the job done. We then see the sheriff arrive at the motel within the next few minutes, and the owner doesn't waste time giving away Erica's details. He also tells the sheriff that weird voices have been coming from the room, and when the sheriff approaches Erica's room, he spots a bright orange glow seeping from under the door. The sheriff knocks, and Erica nonchalantly opens the door. She simply says, "What seems to be the problem, officer?" And this is when we get a good look at the octopus. It is a huge glowing orange spirit of sorts, with tentacles for limbs, a human face, and toothy appendages hanging from its waist. But just like Tommy, the police officers seem oblivious to the presence in the room. Something is killing the children. Issue number 3, the cost of delays. Hidden in a closet, away from prying eyes and covered in blood, a little girl chants under her breath that she doesn't believe in monsters, while growls and snarls echo in the room on the other side of the door. She continues chanting that monsters don't exist until the door to the closet creaks open and monsters start existing. It sniffs for her, finds her presence, and breaks open the door. The little girl crawls under its feet and runs away, screaming for help. She ducks and darts through the room covered in blood, bodies and limbs, but there's no escaping this monster. She slips on blood, falls down the stairs, and breaks her hand. Bones stick out of her wrist, and under normal circumstances, she would have wailed and woken up the whole town. But right now, the monster is upon her, and all she can stutter while holding her broken hand is for someone to help her. Why won't someone see this thing? Why can't someone hear it? Why can't someone help her? Tears stream down from her eyes as she battles with this futile scenario, and in her last moments, all she can do is scream, "Please!" before succumbing to the monster. This scream echoes into the empty street and is enveloped by the dark night, just like Henry's words are enveloped by the night and heard by no one in a bar on the other side of town. He is drunk, and he is trying to forget and at the same time mourn his dead son. His son was a doer. He never complained, nor did he ever lament. He would simply step up whenever a situation presented itself. The barkeep allows Henry to have one last drink before cutting him off and calling a cab. Tommy Mahoney and his friends, including Tam, discuss Erica's arrival in the same bar. Tommy tells them all about her and then promises to deal with the matter on his own terms if the sheriff fails to do his job as he has in the past dozen cases. We then catch up with Erica in the sheriff's office where he is currently interrogating her. He can't believe Erica Slaughter is her real name, partly because it sounds made up, but mostly because she is using a paper copy of her driver's license that hasn't even been laminated. Erica, on the other hand, is simply going through the motions. She has done this a million times, and so when the sheriff calls her out on her attitude, she simply lays it out for him as is. Till now, she has answered all of his questions. She has told him where she was on every date that he has mentioned, and frankly, this isn't going to paint a nice picture. On each mentioned date, she was in a town where children were being murdered, and this isn't going to look good for her record. But that won't change the fact that he watched her step out of the bus 2 days ago, and this means she isn't involved in the murders being committed in Archer's Peak. She then simply gets up and begins staring at the pinboard marking all the missing children and the murders. She knows someone went missing long before children began to be killed in succession, and she implores the sheriff to reveal that child's name. She tells the sheriff that deep down he knows that all the missing kids are dead, and it would help Erica wrap things up faster if he revealed the first child's details. The sheriff hates being interrogated by Erica like this, and he screams for her to change her attitude because children are dying. He doesn't know it yet, but this is Erica we're talking about. She simply takes a seat and tells him that she is here to stop the children from dying. She tells him that he will get a call soon, and after that call, he will let her go. Once she is free, she will go and do her thing, and then the children will stop dying. The mystery will kill and eat at him for months, but eventually he would be content with the fact that no more children are dying. The sheriff is stunned by Erica's attitude, and before he can respond, there is a knock on the door, and his partner, Officer John Richards, reveals that 5 more children are dead. He just got the call, and they must go to the scene immediately. The sheriff, lost in thoughts, orders Richards to throw Erica in the drunk tank, but as she is being taken away, the severity of 5 more children dying dawns on him, and he looks at Erica and says, "What the fuck do you know, Erica?" Erica looks at him with an unfazed attitude again and tells him that she can relate with him. She knows what it feels like to be responsible for children dying and not being able to do anything sooner. Something tells the sheriff that she can stop this, but he can't put his finger on it. He reluctantly lets her go, and Erica begins to walk away. As she was gathering her backpack and trench coat, the sheriff told her that the first child to vanish was a girl named Sarah Washington. She went missing a month and a half ago. Erica thanked him for his help, and that is when the sheriff asked her what he should say when he got the call, now that she was already being set free. Erica's voice changes. There is anger in her words as she says, "You should tell him he's an asshole and that he should have called sooner. 5 more kids are dead because of him." As Erica walks away, Sheriff Joe Kavanaugh tasks Officer Richards with tailing Erica from a distance and finding out everything he can about her. We then see that James has been waiting for Erica on a bench outside. He heard that the sheriff had taken her, so he had been waiting for her all morning. This is when Erica realizes that he is skipping school, and James defends this by stating that everyone at school hates him and that it's not like they're going to fail him this year. He wants to do something about his situation, and helping Erica kill the monster is his only real option. Erica doesn't say anything and instead consults her octopus. Killing 5 children in one night isn't something an E7 can do, and this is when her octopus replies to her and tells her that the monster is likely a Class B Oscura type. James finds it odd that she is speaking to a stuffed toy, and Erica quickly puts her octopus away. This is when James makes the mistake of saying, "You look angry. You should try talking to people instead of stuffed animals." And this is when Erica lashes out at him and tells him to shut up. She storms away, but then stops dead in her tracks. James tries to apologize to her, but she apologizes to him in return. His friends have just died. The entire town thinks he's a killer, but that doesn't mean she isn't scared too. As more and more kids die, the monster will get stronger, and it has been a while since Erica went up against something this strong. She needs to end this before things get out of hand. James asks what they can do, and Erica tells him it's time they gather all the weapons they can for the final fight. Something is killing the children. Issue number 4, Meddling in the Wrong. We catch up with Erica at House Depot, another parody of the real-life multinational retail corporation where she is shopping for dangerous tools. She is currently talking to Henry, who is trying to sell her the best chainsaw available in the store. It has state-of-the-art sensors that stop the saw the moment you drop it, or if it detects it cutting something other than wood. But this is exactly the kind of chainsaw Erica is trying to avoid. She demands to see the chainsaws that don't have sensors. Henry begins to get the feeling that something is not right, and that is when James comes running down the alley with a huge pair of shears. Erica tells him to put them in the cart, which is already full of dangerous tools. It has barbed wire, razor wire, axes, thumps, meshed protective gloves, and much more. Henry now understands the kind of chainsaw Erica needs, and he pulls out an old yellow-coloured non-safety battery-powered chainsaw from the back. They head towards the cash register, and we head towards Tommy, who is currently at his father's run-down house at the edge of the town. His father is a recluse, and he is currently sleeping naked on the couch. Tommy looks away as the two of them have the briefest of conversations. Tommy sneaks away a shoebox from one of the shelves as his father tries to get dressed. Through their conversation, we learn that his father and mother no longer live together, and that he already expects his daughter Sophie to show up dead. Tommy decides to leave, and when his father asks him to call before coming next time, Tommy reveals he called him 7 times. His phone was dead, and says that he should charge it every once in a while. Tommy gets in the car with Tam and then opens the shoebox. It contains a revolver, and it's clear that Tommy is about to take matters into his own hands. We then catch up with Sheriff Joe and Coroner Tim, who is his bigger brother at the scene of the latest murders where 5 children were found dead. Tim tells his brother that whoever did this is some kind of psychopath. Predators don't kill for fun like this, and humans that hold grudges don't tear off limbs willy-nilly. Whoever is doing this is perverted in all the wrong ways. Joe then turns his brother towards the nearby wall, and they stare at it speechlessly, trying to come up with theories. The wall has a huge hole, and before they can say anything, the officer in the room gets a call. It's for Joe, and the man on the other end has scared the officer to death. He managed to call his personal phone number, and he knew things about the officer that no one would have known. Joe knows this is the call Erica had warned him about. He takes the phone, and the mysterious man on the other end has the same tattoo as Erica. He tells Joe that he is a friend who can help Joe if the latter chooses his words wisely. And the conversation sends chills down Joe's spine as it continues. We then cut away and catch up with Erica and James again. They are currently wheeling a cart full of weapons into the woods as James asks her about the monsters. Erica tells him it's simple. They're monsters and eat children. James had expected more, but Erica told him there was nothing more to it. When James insists, Erica implies that children believing in monsters might have something to do with their existence. It is why the adults can't see them, but she leaves the conversation at that. She then tells him that knowing and believing are different. For example, James knows monsters aren't supposed to be real, but in the dark of night when the shadows creep in, he will still end up believing in them. This won't happen when he grows up, which will be for the good. Once they reach the edge of the woods, Erica tells James to stay here while goes and gets the job done. But James isn't having any of it. Erica promised James that he could help her, and she can't walk back on her promise. Erica knows that she needs to uphold her promise, so she sighed and allowed James to come with her. But there's a catch. James has to make a promise of his own. He needs to promise Erica that he will do as she says. If she tells him to stay outside, he will stay outside. If she tells him to run, he will run, no matter what he sees or hears. James looks up at her, stutters for a moment, and then promises to do what she says. We then catch up with Officer Richards, who has been keeping a close eye on the two of them using his binoculars. But that is when he gets a call from Joe, who tells him to stop tailing Erica. Richards is puzzled by this sudden order from the sheriff, and what puzzles him even more is the fact that Joe sounds scared. Richards decides to take matters into his own hands instead. He gets out of the car, and just as he is about to get his trekking boots from the trunk, Tommy approaches him. Tommy knocks Richards out using his dad's gun, and this is payback for letting Erica go scot-free. By now, Erica and James have found the monster's den, but the problem is that it's much bigger and bloodier than Erica had anticipated. This shouldn't have been possible for a Class B Oscura type, and that is when it dawns on her when the smell hits her nose. James too recoils after smelling the air, and this is when Erica pulls out her octopus and screams at it. "You knew this was going to happen, didn't you? You little piece of shit!" James gets scared by Erica's behaviour, and he is even more startled when she orders him to hide behind the ridge above them and not enter the den, no matter what he hears or sees. She hands him her backpack and trench coat and orders him to leave immediately. We then see Erica put on her trademark handkerchief, pull out the chainsaw from her duffel bag, and crack a glow stick as she walks into the den. The green light of the glow stick lights the dark interior of the den as she finds a huge pile of dead children's bodies, heads, and limbs right in front of her. This is when Tommy ambushes her, aims the gun at her, and blames her for all the dead children in the den. Erica slowly turns around and asks him to duck instantly because he can't see it yet, but the Oscura type is directly behind him. Something is killing the children. Issue number 5. Incorrect classification. James is sitting on the ridge near the den, huddled with his knees close to his chest due to the cold. He hates being here, and he begins to look around to distract himself, and that is when he finds a half-eaten body of a fawn near him, and the memories of that night come crashing down on him. The body of the deer looks just like the body of his friend Carl, and James begins to cry. He then screams no, and that is when he realizes that he can hear Octo taunting him. Octo taunts him for being weak and for leading his friends to their death that night, just like he has led Erica to her death tonight. James weeps and defends himself, and that is when Octo orders him to intervene if he doesn't want Erica to die. He has the tools, and the time to act is now. Meanwhile, the confrontation between Erica and Tommy inside the monster's den continues. Tommy holds her at gunpoint, while Erica keeps a close eye on the monster. She asks Tommy to walk towards her, but he is too deluded to believe her, and when he begins screaming, the monster roars loudly, and Erica knows it has begun. She starts her chainsaw, pushes Tommy out of the way, and then attacks the monster. She chops off limb after limb as Tommy stares at her dumbfounded, because all he can see is the monster's blood splattering out of thin air with no monster in sight. Erica then manages to drive the chainsaw into the monster's face, which blinds it, but that is when she gets knocked away. Tommy realizes that whatever Erica is fighting must have killed his sister, and so he aims his gun at the empty space and fires away. Erica angrily pushes him aside because he has just made the monster angry and asks him to stop fucking things up. Tommy, however, is now completely erratic as he once again refuses to believe that a monster exists in the empty space in front of them. He punches Erica and tries to shoot her, and in retaliation, she kicks his arm as he fires off the shot. Tommy misses, but this is when they hear another voice in the den. It's the voice of James as he says, "I've been shot. Oh wow, it hurts so much." Erica realizes what Tommy has done and drives her shoulder through Tommy's diaphragm. Tommy drops the gun as he gets the wind knocked out of him, and Erica jumps into action and starts by distracting the blind monster. She hits it on the head with a knife and then takes James's jacket and throws it away from the two of them. The monster goes after the jacket as Erica tells James to be quiet as she helps them escape this horror. She hugs him, and this is when Tommy approaches them while trying to breathe. Erica tells Tommy to help James, but Tommy is too erratic and screams for answers. Erica puts her hand over his mouth and tells him to shut up, and this is when they hear the voice of another child in the den. She is maybe 8 or 9, and she crawls out of the pile of bodies when she hears Tommy's screams. Her name is Bian, and as Erica looks at her, Bian tells them that she has been in the den for a long time. She played dead while the monster feasted on her sister. This is when Tommy spots Sophie's body in the pile and breaks down while hugging her sister's body. Erica now has a huge problem on her hands. James is dying, Bian is too weak to help herself, and Tommy is inconsolable. She is forced to do something that goes against every rule. She takes out the hoard gold from the House of Slaughter and stabs it into Tommy's right temple. As Tommy begins to bleed, he begins cursing Erica, but this is when his vision changes and he can now see the monsters. However, this act has broken a major rule, and the House of Slaughter is alerted of what Erica has done. We see 5 men sitting around a table with stuffed toys of their own, and 4 of them are wearing masks, just like Erica. But the 5th one, sitting at the head of the table, has actual teeth, just like the ones printed on the masks. His teeth are metal, and he has 4 fangs that protrude from his jaw. As Tommy sees the monster, he slowly begins to understand what has been going on and believes Erica. She tells him to take Bian and James out of the den while she handles the monster. Once the monster has been killed, they can come back for the bodies, including Sophie. Tommy puts James on his back, holds Bian in his arms, and begins to walk out of the den. Erica confronts the monster and vows to kill Octo once all of this is over. She begins slashing away at the monster's limbs while flipping in the air, and this is when we cut to Officer Richards, who is just regaining consciousness. This is when Tommy asks for his help, and when he sees the two children, Richards forgets his anger. Tommy is bleeding from the head, James has been shot, and Bian looks malnourished. He puts the three of them in the car, and knowing they are safe, Tommy instantly passes out. Richards begins driving towards the hospital and informs them of his arrival over the radio when he hears James say, "Tell the octopus, I didn't want to die, I still don't want to die." Back in the woods, we see that Erica has killed the monster and is now being contacted by the House of Slaughter. She explains that she did what she had to do, but when the person on the other end continues to berate her, she screams and says, "No, fucking listen to me, Aaron. It was a mother. It had children. Those children are out there now and they're hungry. If this town is to survive, we're going to have to kill them ASAP." Something is killing the children. Issue number 6, Consequences. The comic starts by showing us the night James's friend died. James and Carl had held back to have a conversation of their own, and through this, we learn that James had confessed his love to Carl, and Carl had turned him down. But that didn't mean they had stopped being friends. In fact, Carl had confided in James and had told him that he liked Tyler. All of them then walked into the woods to ensure that Noah would complete the dare, and that is when James slipped on a wet piece of wood and fell into the ravine. When he came up, he could hear his friends screaming. He began to frantically search for them, and the same words from that night are being echoed in his hospital room today. James is living that night repeatedly while he recovers, and it breaks Erica's heart when she witnesses this. This is when Tommy shows up and tries to make small talk with Erica, but she has nothing to say to him. In fact, she is disappointed when she learns that Tommy didn't break a single bone during the entire ordeal. Maybe she should have hit him harder. Whatever may be the case, at least she didn't shoot a kid, and when Tommy asks if she's going to tell the police, she tells him that it will be James's decision. Tommy then tries to get answers out of Erica and tries to get in on the jig, but Erica breaks his arm and tells him that he stands on the edge of a reality that has nothing but pain to offer. He might think he wants to know the truth, but Erica tells him that he should stop pursuing it. As Erica leaves, she advises Tommy to patch himself up and leave town, and that is when he realizes that the jig isn't up yet. We then catch up with Sheriff Kavanaugh and his brother Tim the coroner in the monster's cave, where they are staring at the pile of dead bodies. Everyone on the force knows Joe is hiding something, and now even his brother demands answers. Joe doesn't know enough to tell his brother the truth, and the little that he does know will spark panic. Joe tries to change the topic, and Tim reluctantly complies. They both agree on one fact though, that the pile of children's bodies in front of them is huge, and they will need to commandeer the school gymnasium to sort this mess out. When Joe walks out, there is another problem waiting for him, Officer Richards. Richards has left Bian in the office with Gail and is right now demanding answers from Joe. After all, he was the one to discover the kids and tail Erica. At least he should know what's going on. But Joe simply forces Richards to take the week off to recover from his injuries and walks off. Richards, on the other hand, knows something is up. Joe is scared, and it might be time to take matters into your own hands. We then see Erica visit the police station where Bian is busy colouring and drawing at the reception desk. Gail, a lovely old woman who is the receptionist, keeps her company and offers Erica coffee as soon as she enters. The dark circles under Erica's eyes have only grown more prominent since the last encounter due to the lack of sleep, so she accepts Gail's coffee and sits down to chat with Bian. She decides to draw alongside Bian, and through their conversation, we learn Bian is quite smart for her age. She knows none of the adults believe her, but she doesn't mind. When Erica takes out Octo, she remarks how ugly he is and then tells Erica about the Oscura type's children. There were 5 of them, and she is currently drawing them. The mother would feed on live children while her offsprings would feast on old dead bodies. She even finds solace in the fact that at least the dead children are offering sustenance to the monsters. She even tried to tell Sheriff Joe that taking the bodies away would leave the monsters' children hungry, but none of the adults believed her. Erica thanked Bian for all the information, and they then showed their drawings to each other. Bian drew Erica fighting the monsters, and Erica drew her home. A scary looking home in Bian's opinion, and this is when we head to Chicago to get a good glimpse on the real thing that inspired Erica's drawing. The House of Slaughter, an old mansion in the middle of Chicago, surrounded by dead trees and nothing but dim light waiting. Inside the house, Aaron Slaughter sits on a chair, waiting for a decision, and that is when Cecilia Slaughter walks out and tells him the verdict. The old dragon, their leader, has ordered Aaron to head to Archer's Peak to clean up his ward's mess. Erica was his responsibility, and he would now have to clean up her mess. Aaron and Cecilia know that Erica won't return to the House of Slaughter, nor will she follow orders, but this is Aaron's problem. The old dragon is angry, and any further breach of protocol will be Aaron's burden. They then discuss Tommy's involvement, and Cecilia simply tells him that he needs to die. It has been their protocol for generations. She then says, the House of Slaughter has learned its lesson about picking strays, and this is contrasted by a young pre-teen portrait of Erica Slaughter in the mansion, suggesting that she was a stray the house decided to bring into their order in the past. Something is killing the children. Issue number 7. Desperation. Mrs. Mahoney stands among the hundreds of parents who have shown up to the school gymnasium. Some have come to identify their children's bodies like her, while others are here to watch the drama unfold. She is wearing nothing but her robe, and when Tommy tries to talk to her, through their conversation, we learn that she has been an abusive mother and she has a good grip on Tommy. She tells him that she isn't walking away without her daughter's body and orders him to make himself useful. We then head inside, where Coroner Tim is talking with Principal John Collins. The two decide to share a beer to drown their sorrows, but when Tim confesses how he had to compare a dismembered jawbone with the faces of a dozen children to find the right match, Principal Collins throws up. Collins tries to get to the bottom. He tries to get answers and theories as to who could have murdered these children, but Tim simply tells him to direct these questions towards the only person who might know something, Sheriff Joe Kavanaugh. We then catch up with Erica in the forest, where she is perched in a tree waiting for the Oscar type's children. Octo tries to tell her that ambushing them won't work, but Erica isn't going to give up. This is when the wailing monster children show up, and Octo once again tries to blame Erica for everything that has happened. He tells her that the children are crying because she killed their mother, and they are crying because they are hungry. Erica ambushes them and slashes at their bodies, but the knife passes through them as though they were made of smoke. This is when Aaron shows up, and he begins to lecture her about why her ambush didn't work. This is something Erica should already know, but she is simply appalled at the fact that Aaron has been sent by the House of Slaughter to lecture her. The argument gets quite heated, and Erica ends up calling Aaron a spoiled brat who has had his head buried in the books for years and has little field experience. But this is when Aaron once again forces Erica to remember why her plan didn't work, and she ends up screaming, "Jesus, yes, fine. Oscurotypes are shadow forms, concentrated fear. They are only solid when they eat." Aaron then asks if Erica knew this. Then why did she bother ambushing them in their current state? And this is when Erica breaks down and screams that she was desperate. Children are dying and she didn't want to endanger any more lives. Aaron sympathizes, removes his mask, and through their conversation, we learn that Erica is personally invested in this case because Oscurotypes have scarred her deeply in the past. Aaron then gets down to business and suggests they should involve Bian, but Erica outright refuses this notion. Aaron tells her that they need bait to draw out the monsters, and through this conversation, he reveals what the Order has decided to do with Tommy. Erica looks at him with piercing eyes, and he finally gives in and screams, "Stop looking at me like that! We're not heroes, we're hunters, don't forget that!" And for once, Erica is left speechless. She decides to lead Aaron to Bian because they need to end this quickly. Unbeknownst to them, however, Officer Richards has heard this entire conversation, and he phones the station and orders Gail to take full custody of Bian. He orders her not to hand over Bian to anyone but him. He then pulls out a gun, and it seems Richards means business this time. Something is killing the children. Issue number 8. Oops. We start by catching up with James in the hospital. He's finally conscious, and the first person to visit him is Sheriff Kavanaugh. They joke about James getting shot, and James then asks the sheriff about the nervous look on his face. That is when Joe decides to learn the truth from James. He asks the kid to lay it out straight for him. Joe thinks it was aliens who did this, and James lets out a tiny laugh when he hears this idea. James can understand why the sheriff would want it to be something rational like aliens, but he lays it out for him straight. It was monsters, not Dracula or the boogeyman, but actual monsters created from the shadows. The sheriff covers his eyes and then asks James about Erica Erica and the group that she works for. James tells Joe he doesn't know much about them, but believes Erica hates the group. He also kind of trusts her because she stabbed Tommy in the head, which allowed him to see the monsters. And this is the lead Sheriff Kavanaugh was looking for. Tommy can see the monsters. We then head to the police station, where Bian is still busy drawing, while Gail is doing her best to answer her harrowing questions and realizing the trauma the little girl has endured. This is when Aaron and Erica show up on the scene to take Bian away. Erica is doing her best to keep up appearances, but Aaron is being crass. Children are dying, and they can't waste time pretending to be decent people in front of the police. When Bian decides to take papers and markers with her on the drive, Aaron decides to step in and tell her that she doesn't need markers where they are going. This is when Officer Richards shows up on a scene and holds Aaron and Erica at gunpoint. He is here to take Bian away, but this entire confrontation confuses Gail. She decides to call Sheriff Kavanaugh to clear things up, but this is when Aaron takes matters into his own hands. As soon as Gail picks up the phone, Aaron smacks her in the head with his cane and knocks her out. The confrontation gets heated, and Bian's mistrust of Aaron and Erica begins to manifest. Aaron reveals their dire circumstances, but Officer Richards doesn't care about that. He reveals that he heard the two of them talking and knows that they will use Bian as bait. Richards was the one caring for Bian after she was rescued from the cave. He was the one who got her patched up, drove her to the hospital and back, and turned on the heat in the car when she was cold, and this is enough for Bian to trust him in this confrontation. She begins to walk towards him, but then, when she looks at Erica, she realizes that Erica is trying to kill the babies. With a horrific look on her face, Bian looks up at Erica and screams, "You're going to hurt the babies? They're just babies. They don't know that they're bad." This is when Aaron decides that he has had enough. He decides to take matters into his own hands and moves in to knock out Officer Richards. But this is when Erica decides that she has had enough and knocks out Aaron. She then allows Officer Richards to take Bian away because even though he's being an idiot, he's being an idiot for all the right reasons. He just wants to keep Bian safe, just like her. The two of them leave and Erica is left alone to deal with knocked out Aaron and Gail. We then see that the coroner's work has come to an end at the school gymnasium. It's Principal Collins's turn to address the crowd and call in the victims' parents alphabetically. Tim knows the crowd will be tough on the principal, which is why he decides to address them and ask them to show some compassion during these dark times. We then see Tommy get shunned by his mother once again. He tries to tell her that Sophie's name will be at the end of the list, but his mother is steadfast on standing in the crowd no matter how long it takes. Tommy leaves and calls up Tam so that the two of them can leave town for the night and distract themselves. But this is when something in the woods behind the school grabs his attention. With a broken arm, Tommy heads to investigate the movement in the woods, and we head back to catch up with Erica. She is taking care of Gail when Aaron wakes up and blames Erica for assaulting a senior. But Erica is good with this stuff. She has been in the field all her life, and so she tells him that his reckless attack could have gotten Bian injured, so she did what she had to do. Aaron needs to do what he's good at. He needs to make sure he isn't arrested for assaulting Gail, and he needs to take care of such problems. Erica, on the other hand, will deal with the monsters and find a bait that knows what's at stake. As she leaves, Aaron says, "Better act quick, Erica. All it's going to take is one more kill to make them a lot deadlier." And Aaron might have jinxed it, because when Tommy walks into the woods, he smells the iron in the air and soon finds blood all over the ground. He knows that another child has been killed, and he quickly calls Tam, cancels their plan, and begs her to find Erica and to tell her that another child has been killed. As Tommy continues walking into the woods, he finds the mangled corpse of a teenager, limbs missing and guts spilled out, and then a roar sends terror racing through his veins when he is quickly surrounded by 5 Oscura types that have now fully manifested. Something is killing the children. Issue number 9. A town full of questions. Brendan and Corey Parker are currently in the woods looking for their brother, Jason Parker. The two ran away from him when Jason began indulging in personal details of his life, but now they are afraid for their brother's life. That is when movement in the nearby bushes catches Brendan's eye, and the very next second they see Tommy sprinting out of them. When they try to ask him questions, he screams, "Shut the fuck up and run!" But the very next second, Brendan watches helplessly as Corey is stabbed through his torso by one of the Oscura types. He cries out with the blood of his second brother dripping from his face as Tommy realizes how helpless he is in this situation. He begins to panic, and just like Brendan, tears begin streaming down his face because he can do nothing but apologize to the kid. On the other side of town, Erica is visiting James, who is kind of mad at her for getting him shot. He thought their partnership would have been an adventure, a way for him to redeem himself after his friend's death. But no, Erica roped him into a war for survival without any warning. But he is a smart kid, and he has already forgiven her. He also knew that he would either never see Erica again in his life or see her very soon. She then comes clean and tells James that she needs to use him as bait. James laughs, clutches his broken ribs, and then sits up. James doesn't know why Erica helps the world at all, when others who know about the monsters sit behind closed doors. This is when rage flashes through Erica's eyes, and she tells him about her past. She tells James that an Oscura type was lurking in their town just like his when she was a little kid. It killed her best friend in front of her eyes and grew strong enough to kill her parents next. Her parents couldn't see the monster, so they were helpless, but Erica could see it and knew she needed to do something about it. The little preteen innocent Erica had walked out of her hiding space, had picked up a knife and had stabbed the monster again and again until it was on the verge of death. But that is when her mentor, Jessica Slaughter, had showed up. Erica captured and imprisoned the monster that killed her parents in her stuffed octopus. And then she was inducted in the House of Slaughter and became a monster hunter in the Order of St. George. Just like James, she had thought she'd be fighting for good, but it didn't take long for her to realize that the House of Slaughter's job is to keep the monster killings hidden, rather than help those that are killed around the world. Hundreds are killed around the world, and logistically speaking, helping them all is impossible. And so the House of Slaughter uses its powers to manipulate authorities and media to keep things hidden. She then confesses that she is not a superhero, she is just a tired, sad lady who knows how to kill the monsters, and this time she doesn't plan on failing. She truly needs James's help this time because the entire town is at risk. This is when Tam rushes in and interrupts their conversation. She is quite winded, and so it takes her a minute to catch her breath, but when she does, she tells Erica that Tommy thinks the monsters have killed another kid, and that is when the world around Erica shrinks to nothing as she realizes what this means. We then see Sheriff Kavanaugh arrive at the school and keep his head down and hidden as he enters the gymnasium. Tim and Joe have a heart-to-heart, as the former claims that seeing all the parents break down still hurts him despite having all empathy drained out of him years ago when he started his job as the coroner. That is when an officer barges in and tells them about the weird noises coming from the woods behind the school. Tommy, meanwhile, is doing his best to protect Brendan, but the kid just watched his brothers get killed, and so he is screaming for help. Tommy picks up a stone and hits one of the Oscura types to protect Brendan, but the teenager decides to run away. This gives the Oscura types the opening that they were looking for, and one of them stabs and kills Brendan as well. Tommy hits the Oscura type, and the dead body of Brendan plunges into his arms. Tommy slumps to the ground and begins to weep, and all he can say is, "Just kill me too, just kill me too." But this is when Sheriff Kavanaugh shows up on the scene, and all the officers point their guns at Tommy. He is surrounded by 3 dead teenagers with no other culprit in sight. Something is killing the children. Issue number 10, A Brief Last Stand. We start this issue with Sophie Maloney's name being called out. Tommy's mum heads inside, and though Principal Collins tries to make small talk with her, she is just as rude to him. All she wants is to see her daughter, and nothing is going to stop her. We then head to the woods, where Sheriff Kavanaugh is ordering his men to stop the proceedings in the school. They will now need to inform the Parker family that instead of losing a daughter, they have now lost their 2 sons as well. This is when Tommy tells Joe that there are 3 bodies, not 2. He'll find another one deeper in the woods, and that's when Aaron joins the conversation on the scene. He takes Tommy into his own custody while ordering the sheriff to take care of the large crowd outside the school. Reluctantly, Joe agrees, and this is when the confrontation between Tommy and Aaron begins. Tommy thinks that Aaron will recruit him. He thinks he is going to live the life of a monster hunter, but if he would have been listening to Aaron, he would have realized that Aaron is here to end his life. Only when Aaron pulls out a syringe filled with a paralyzing agent does the reality dawn upon Tommy. We then see Erica and James arrive at the school in Tam's car, where they are ordered to turn around by the officer due to the recent instructions issued by the sheriff. life. Erica asks James to stay behind, but he insists on tagging along, and so the two of them head towards the school. And that is when Sheriff Kavanaugh meets up with them. He is pissed due to the way in which Aaron talked to him, but all Erica is focused on is the recent deaths of the teens in the woods. Joe reluctantly tells her that he found 3 bodies in the woods with Tommy Mahoney, sporting the blood of 2 of the dead children. He tries to tell her that Tommy will be arrested for this and that he is under Aaron's care right now, but Erica is too busy coming to terms with the fact that 3 more children have been killed. The world around her has shrunk and her body has gone into fight or flight mode. She orders Joe to usher all the families with children into the gymnasium. Then, she holds James by the face and tells him that things are much worse than they look. For the first time, James sees care and hurt in Erica's eyes, and he can't help but agree with her. Joe doesn't like Erica's tone, but knows enough to realise the dire circumstances. He orders Tim to take James into the school in order to keep him safe, and Erica then orders Joe to take her into the woods. We see a little girl playing with a paper plane in the parking lot, and this is when Tommy's mother is being informed that she'll have to come back tomorrow. This is contrasted by Tommy being drugged by Aaron in the woods. Once Tommy is sedated, Aaron pulls out his knife to finish the job as he tells Tommy that the Order of St. George can no longer accept independent agents. Secrets need to remain hidden, which is why he has to do this. This is when Erica shows up on the scene and punches Aaron in the face and stops him from killing Tommy. She now realises he wasn't sent to help her. He was sent to kill Tommy and tie loose ends. He blames Erica for roping Tommy into this gig, but this is when she screams for Aaron to realise what's at stake here. 5 Oscurotypes are in the woods right now, and there's a parking lot full of children nearby. Erica tries to help Tommy up and informs the sheriff of what Aaron tried to do. This is when Aaron threatens to fight Erica if he needs to, and for the first time, she rolls her eyes dramatically. She pushes Aaron against a tree and tells him that she needs him right now. He needs to stop being the Order's lapdog and assess the situation clearly. 5 Oscurotypes, 3 dead, and this is when Aaron puts it all together. 3 bodies are enough to fill only 1 Oscurotypes and stomachs, and the fact they're starving children means that a monster frenzy is inevitable. Aaron sighs as realises that a blood frenzy is about to start, and he decides to join Erica in the fight. This is when she says, "This is what none of you understand. While you worry about the rules, real people are getting hurt." This is contrasted by the little girl playing with the paper airplane in the parking lot, stopping dead in her tracks when she watches another child crying while looking up at a huge black figure. The Oscurotypes are here, and only the children can see them. Joe is carrying a sedated Tommy out of the woods, and this is when, in his inebriated state, Tommy tries to warn Joe that the little girl is about to be killed. Joe doesn't believe him, and Tommy decides to run for it. His befuddled mother watches Tommy trip and fall as the very next second the girl with the paper airplane is lifted into the air and ripped in half. We and the children know that it was the Oscurotypes, but all the adults saw was the girl ripped in half by an unknown force. Tommy's mother is scarred again, and she tries to get closer to the body, but this is when Tommy asks her to stay away because the Oscurotype can feel her fear, but she doesn't listen to him. Tommy, in desperation, tackles his mother while Sheriff Kavanaugh stares into the thin air above him, dumbfounded. James tells Tim that he can see the monsters and needs to help the children, so Tim screams for the parents and children to get into the gymnasium. Erica and Aaron arrive on the scene only to realise that the situation has worsened. Erica is speechless, but Aaron takes charge and orders her to draw the Oscurotypes away using James and Bian. He then puts on his mask and pulls out his knives. Erica tries to tell him that he doesn't have enough field experience to do this, but this is when he reveals that he is more worried about the Order. He never liked them, just like her. It's the reason why he protected her this long. And now that so many people have witnessed an attack firsthand, he needs Erica to live in order to prevent the Order from doing what they usually do in such cases. For the first time, there is respect for Aaron in Erica's eyes as she gives him a look and runs away to usher the people into the school, and Aaron gets ready to face the monsters. She ushers Tommy's mother inside, and the sedated son realizes Aaron's going to fight them. But this is when, with a sad voice, Erica ominously tells him that that is not what's going to happen. We then see Aaron attack the monsters. He stabs one of them in the face, but the very next second, he gets his arm ripped off, and all Aaron can say is, "Oh fuck, not this soon, please." Something is killing the children. Issue number 11. Lockdown. The memory of the night his friends were killed haunts James again. He remembers how helpless he was once Tyler was eaten right in front of him. He remembers backing up against the tree as the Oscura-type mother snarled just inches away from his face. He remembers the mother getting distracted by his father's voice, and he remembers his father rushing to his aid even though James screamed for him to stay back. The mother had left once his father had hugged him, and that is when, in a moment of desperation, vulnerability and helplessness, he had confessed to killing his friends. We then see the Oscura types feasting on dead bodies outside the school while being drawn towards the building by the fear of the children inside it. Everyone sits in silence and James weeps silently while staring down at his friends' bodies. This is when Erica decides to take James away to complete the ritual. His sides hurt like hell and he's about to throw up, but the kid musters up the courage to go along with the plan. Joe tries to stop Erica, but she simply tells him to listen to Tommy and stay inside until he gives the all clear. Distraught and bewildered by this, Joe grabs Erica's arm and screams, "Tommy, the kid's been drugged for God's sake!" This is when Erica's eyes burn a hole in Joe's heart and he lets go of her arm. She instructs Tommy to check the parking lot every 5 minutes. If he sees one of the monsters outside, it means all of them are here. She orders Joe to keep everyone locked inside as long as it takes, but that is when Joe falters and says that he won't be able to do this. She tells him to use the girl's death to his advantage, to tell anyone daring to leave the school that the same fate awaits them. She then leaves with James, and we then switch to the House of Slaughter in Chicago, Illinois. Cecilia is meeting up with the old dragon, and he is informed that Aaron Slaughter has died. His murder was live streamed to social media, and the footage of the girl being ripped in half was posted to Facebook half an hour ago. She informs him that their friends in Silicon Valley have helped suppress the posts for now, but they need to act fast. The old dragon munches on a green gummy worm as he orders a total blackout in Archer's Peak, with no internet and no cellular connection. He then orders Cecilia to get in touch with their contacts in Madison to cut off all the roads leading into Archer's Peak, and then gives her the responsibility of carrying out the remaining part of the operation. Cecilia then asks what's to become of Erica, and the old dragon demands that she is to be brought back alive. The old dragon's partner is a stuffed teddy bear, and Teddy has begun mocking Cecilia. The old dragon asks Cecilia to ignore Teddy because he has gone insane, but there might be more to this than he is letting on. Cecilia tries to tell him that Erica's a risk at this point, but he slams his fist on the table and asserts his authority. Cecilia agrees to do as he asks, and she then walks deeper into the House of Slaughter. We see that there are 2 rooms in the house, the black room and the white room. Cecilia wears a white mask, while Aaron and Erica wear a black mask. It seems Aaron was the leader of the black room, and Cecilia stares at it longingly before entering her white room. It's full of other hunters wearing white masks, and she recruits all of them for her trip to Archer's Peak. In school, James and Erica manage to escape using a window on the backside without making a sound. The monsters still lurk in the parking lot, and one of them is alerted to their presence as they run towards a truck. Erica quickly opens the door to the truck, and they lock themselves inside. As she is hot wiring the car, she tells James to get in touch with Bian. However, James's phone has no service, and this is when Erica realizes that the House of Slaughter is working faster than she had expected. She continues hot wiring, but James begins to panic. His fear has drawn an Oscura type to them, and it is currently lurking just outside his window with its face covered in blood. Something is killing the children. Issue number 12, Not Okay. James shows up outside a suburban house and bangs on its doors while covered in blood and demanding help. We then see Officer Richards open the door and try to shoo James away at first because he needs to keep Bian safe, but James screams and begs for his help. Erica has been hurt, and he is just a kid. He can't help her on his own. Richards runs to the truck outside and finds Erica slumped in the front seat. He drags her out and begins walking towards the house with her, and that is when she jokes that when she said he should stay low, it didn't mean hiding in his parents' house. We then see what happened back in the parking lot. The monster was about to attack James, so Erica was forced to get out and fight it instead. However, before she killed it, she was bitten by it, and the loss of blood has made her quite weak. Erica promises to tell Richards everything once she has patched herself up, and she then asks James to bring her backpack inside. It contains the medicines that she needs. Erica is in a hurry because the Order of St. George is coming. We then see the Order arrive on the outskirts of Archer's Peak, and before they head inside, They tape up the sign leading into the town with a notice that says, "Exit closed." Erica patches herself up, stabs some adrenaline into her, and then tells Richards not to question her statements because she can't prove things to him. If he is to know what's going on, he needs to believe everything she says without questioning her. Richards agrees, and Erica tells him about the Order of St. George, an organization of monster hunters that she belongs to. James tells him about the Oscurotypes and the babies. Erica then tells him what the Order is designed to do. It's designed to keep the truth hidden, rather than saving lives. She then reveals how this cycle will end. She will need to find the source of the invocation that created the monsters, and that's why she's here. She needs to talk to Bian. We then see Tommy in the school's parking lot staring at Aaron's dead body torn up to shreds. He's scoping the lot for monsters while talking to Joe over the radio. The coast seems to be clear, but that is when Tommy spots one of the monsters behind a car. He quickly hides and runs towards the school doors and begins banging on it. He then looks behind to check his surroundings and sees 4 people emerge from the dark wearing white masks. He is about to be ambushed by them when suddenly Joe opens the door, pulls him inside, and then slams it shut again. He then tells the sheriff about the people we saw, and we cut to Erica again as she tries to meet up with Bian. Bian refuses to talk to her because she wants to kill the children, but Erica then reveals that the children have grown up and have become monsters. They killed 4 children and an adult, and one of them managed to bite her too. Bian then reluctantly talks to Erica, and Erica demands to know the first time Bian heard about the monsters. She has already learned that Bian heard about the monsters before seeing them, and Erica wants to get to the bottom of the source. This is when Bian reveals that she heard about them while on a sleepover at Carly Monitz's house, and Carly was Tyler's sister. James is baffled by this revelation, and as Bian continues with her story, we learn that it was Tyler who told them about the monster in the ravine. The story spread, and all the kids began avoiding the woods, and it wasn't long before Sarah, the first kid, went missing. That is when Bian began to see the monsters in the woods. Small at first, but it grew in size rapidly, and then one day the monster took Bian and she played dead for weeks to save her life. She saw it grow until it was large enough to have babies, and then the mother created the nest. James storms out of the room, and Erica decides to follow him while ordering Richards to keep an eye on Bian. James is blaming himself for creating the monster. He had told Tyler that story a week before they all died. It's why he asked James to recite it again during the game of truth and dare. Erica already knew it. James's tale had played a part in creating the Oscurotype. It's the reason he was left alone by it by that night in the ravine. But she also tells him that a lot of things need to happen for a monster to be created. James's story alone couldn't have done it, so he needs to stop blaming himself. She is about to reveal the other factors that need to happen, but that is when Cecilia arrives on the scene and stops her. Moments later, Richards is brought out by the other White Mask members, and Erica tries to tell them that everything is going to be okay. Cecilia, appalled by Erica's defiance, slashes Richard's throat the very next second to prove her point. Something is killing the children. Issue number 13, Unruly Consequences. We then see a Oscurotype outside the school get killed by the White Mask Hunters led by a woman named Maxine. They hack the monster to pieces, and Maxine takes Aaron's mask as a trophy. They then decide to deal with all the people inside the school. In the outskirts, we see Erica shield James and Bian from the sight of Cecilia slashing Richards' throat. The two of them argue, and Cecilia tries to pin down all the deaths that will now happen to Erica because she failed to follow orders. Erica, however, knows that Cecilia is here to kill people in the name of maintaining the secret. This is when Richards, with his last breath, manages to shoot the 2 White Mask members restraining him before being killed by Cecilia. However, this distraction worked, and it allowed Erica to escape with Bian and James. James begins to bleed from his gunshot wound, but he manages to show Erica the way back to his through the woods after spotting his friend's backyard. They need to do the ritual in the same room the boys were having their sleepover, and the fact that his parents stay in a hotel room after the incident makes the ritual a whole lot easier. We then see Maxine threatening the people in the school while ordering her team to find another way in while she keeps them distracted. Tommy, Joe and Tim discuss what they can do in this situation, and Tommy says that they shouldn't trust Erica's people because she always hated them. They try to contact her but realize that there is no cell service, and that is when the lights at the school are turned off. Moments later, a car comes crashing through one of the doors, and Maxine steps out and orders everyone to gather in the middle of the gym if they want to live. Tommy plans to escape with his mum somehow, and we then catch up with Bian, Erica and James in James's house. Erica pulls out Octo, places him on the floor, and begins the ritual by asking him to show his true self to the children. The spirit form of the monster that killed Erica's parents steps out, and the ritual begins. The children have only one role to play in the ritual. They need to answer Erica's questions honestly. Something is killing the children. Issue number 14, Cover-Up. Octo's introduction to Bien and James doesn't know well. They're both scared, and Erica helps comfort and calm them down. She tells them what Octo did and that he is still dangerous to her, but not anyone else in the world. She then has both of them lie down on either side of the toy and begins a session of guided meditation. She has them imagine a void of white where each breath they draw turns into darkness. Then she begins questioning James, and we learn that he had imagined the monster before creating the story. He imagined it while secretly chatting with his friends on the computer in the middle of the night. He imagined a big face on the window, long nails with huge white fangs. As he imagines this moment, the face of the obsucra-type mother begins to appear on the window. She asks James to imagine the face vividly and to let it get sharper. Bien also seems to be able to see the face because she begins crying and stating that she hates the mother monster. Erica holds her hand and then asks Bien to imagine the obscura-type mother as well. Bien cheats and takes a peek at Erica, and this is when she screams, and so does the monster in Octo as it transforms into the obscura-type mother. We then head to the school where the White Mask members are harassing and bullying the townspeople. Sheriff Kavanaugh tries to shout and assert his authority, but Maxine, who is the current leader of this group, simply threatens to slice his head off with an axe. They ask everyone to empty their pockets and begin collecting their phones, cameras, and other gadgets. Mrs. Mahoney takes this opportunity to find Sophie's body, and she begins weeping when she sees her daughter's face. The White Mask members try to bully her and Tommy, but he manages to buy them some time under the pretext of saying goodbye to his dead sister. Back at the house, James has begun panicking and crying after seeing Octo's new form, but Erica assures him that it's still Octo. They need him to impersonate the mother in order to draw the children out. She leaves James in charge of Bian, pulls out her knife and then throws Octo out of the window. Octo lets out a horrific scream, and we see that the other Oscura types have heard the maternal call. Erica then wears her mask and walks out. We then see Tommy and Mrs. Mahoney breaking down. She wants to die, but Tommy can't lose his mother as well. He hugs her and promises to find her a way out of this entire situation. He promises that he will ensure that she gets a safe passage, and so does Sophie. He then walks up to the sheriff, makes him realise that the White Mask members are here to kill them all, and the only way to save all the townspeople who saw the monster killing the girl is by offering the White Mask members a better story. Back in James's house, Octo informs Erica that the children will be here any second, and she prepares for battle. The three remaining monsters quickly surround her, and Erica attacks them all at once. She dodges, stabs, and goes for the head every chance she gets. She breaks their legs, and within minutes has one of them bleeding to death in the yard. She continues fighting and manages to stab a second one in the head, but this haste costs her because the remaining Oscura type is able to rip her sides while she is distracted. We then see Tommy revealing his entire plan to Joe. A better story that would save the townspeople would be to blame him for the murdered children. They should paint him as the killer, and though he does his best to convince everyone that he is crazy, Maxine doesn't buy it. In fact, she has a better and cleaner way to end all this. Something is killing the children. Issue number 15, Abandon or Change. It's done. Erica is on her knees bleeding profusely from her arm, but the job is done. The three monsters are dead, and once she has caught her breath, she drops the bloody knife in the yard and limps her way inside. She stumbles to the kitchen sink and dumps her head under the flowing water. James tries to ask her if it's over, but she says nothing. She orders him to get her backpack, pulls out her phone, and calls the Order of St. George. She reports that the brood has been killed and that Cecilia and her lapdogs should be called back home. Now, it's over. She decides to take a shower as we see Cecilia get the necessary call to return home. She orders Maxine to stand down, lets Tommy Mahoney take the blame for the murders, and then asks her team to gather Aaron's body and destroy all the collected phones. She tells Principal Collins about the donation he will receive soon, which should be sufficient to fix the door and fund equipment costs for a few years to come. He should get the door fixed discreetly, and this is when Maxine publicly undermines her and demands answers. Cecilia reprimands Maxine for foolishly breaking in through the door of a school with weapons in hand while sporting the mask of their room, and threatens to take her off the field for the next 10 years if she questions her publicly ever again. A week later, we see that everyone in town is keeping up appearances without saying anything, and the national news is painting Tommy to be one of the worst serial killers of all time. In reality, the entire town is saddened by his fate and kind of proud of the brother who gave up his life to save his mother and the entire town. The school door is being fixed, Bian is being cared for by Gail, and Mrs. Mahoney has finally managed to bury her daughter. Her chain smoking still continues just like her tears. Erica then arrives at the bus stop early in the morning and finds the old dragon waiting for her on a bench. The two of them talk, and the old dragon tries to defend how the house is run. Yes, doing the way they do things would have meant letting James bleed out in the cave, killing Tommy, and using Bian as bait right then and there to kill the children, but it would have saved more lives. Bian would have forgotten this when she grew up. James might have survived and Tommy wouldn't have had to take the blame for the murders. But that isn't Erica's way. She isn't going to doom people and children to take the fall just to keep a secret. She will save everyone and do anything to do that. If the old dragon's people hadn't shown up in town, she could have still saved many lives. Richards would have been alive. The ritual could have been completed much earlier. Erica thinks the old dragon is here to convince her to care less about people, but he in fact admires that quality of her. It's the quality he admired in her mentor Jessica and in Aaron. He then reveals the real reason for his visit. After Aaron's death, Erica is the only surviving member of the Black Mask, and he wants her to operate the family from the House of Slaughter. This would allow her to make changes to their ways from the inside while allowing her to grow her family. She could recruit James, maybe Bian, mentor them to be better hunters like her, but it seems Erica is done with the House of Slaughter and the Order of St. George. She quits and renounces the order, and the old dragon lets her leave when she threatens to fight if she has to. He warns her that other houses in the order might not approve of her decision, but Erica can't be bothered about it. When Erica gets in the boat, she is surprised by James, who is going to his mother's house in Milwaukee. Their conversation reveals that Erica has been keeping tabs on him and Bian for the past week, and then James tells her the real reason he planned this entire encounter. He cries and thanks Erica for letting him help. If she wouldn't have, he would have ended up depressed and would have blamed himself for killing his friends. He hugs her, and Erica hugs her back. When he asks where she is going, Erica reveals that she isn't bothered about the destination right now, only the journey. Something is killing the children. Issue number 16. The beginning. A 12-year-old Erica stares at her mother's dead body after having killed the monster, while Jessica argues with Cecilia about bringing her in as her new ward. She has just made a totem for Erica, her stuffed octopus, and Jessica ends the call by telling Cecilia that she is ready to live with her choices. After all, by the time Jessica got here, Erica had already finished most of the job. She was capable, and so Jessica would be taking her in as her new trainee. Octo buzzes every now and then with anger, and once Jessica has finished the call, she looks at Erica, bends down to her level, and tells the kid that she did an amazing job. Erica is dazed and clearly in shock, and despite this, Jessica does her best to be as honest with her as possible. She tells Jessica that she has trapped the Oscura type in Octo, preventing it from hurting anyone else. She then puts it in a Tupperware container because the monster inside is still angry and can't be manhandled until it calms down. Jessica then lays it all out for Erica. Her parents are dead and they're never coming back. She could stay here and go through child services or join Jessica and become a monster hunter. Erica stutters and agrees to go with Jessica. She then tells Erica that she has all night to pack her things and say her final goodbyes. She then hugs Erica, but upon getting closer to her, realizes that she stinks, so she orders her to go take a shower. This is why Erica takes a shower after every kill. It has become some sort of a ritual. We then catch up with the two of them as Erica continues to dream of last night when her parents and best friend and Becca were killed. Becca had tripped and Erica had tried helping her, but while she was pulling, the monster ripped Becca in half. Octo in the Tupperware buzzes again, waking up Erica the next morning. She is in the car with Jessica, and she managed to sleep the entire night. They're finally here. Chicago. Jessica tells her all about Chicago and its famous aquarium and promises to take Erica there someday. But that is when Erica notices that Jessica is nervous. Jessica confesses her nerves, and the two of them bond over their hatred for following orders. They're both smart and perceptive, and that counts for a lot more. She then gives her the crash course. Jessica tells Erica that the place they're going to will be full of pompous pricks who will tease her and bully her for not knowing all the rules or being part of the order sooner. They will bully her and make her life harder, but Erica will survive because she is smarter and stronger than the majority of them. Erica seems to come out of her shocked state and occasionally smiles whenever Jessica is honest with her. We then see them reach the House of Slaughter, and the first one to greet them is Aaron. Aaron helps carry Erica's bags inside, but we see he isn't receptive. He didn't like Erica being brought into the order on the first day. Erica is confused by Aaron's coldness, so she asks Jessica if he is one of the bullies. Jessica smiles and tells Erica that Aaron pretends to be a bully because he gets bullied a lot. Deep down, he is a nice guy. Erica asks if she can bully Aaron in return, and Jessica nods, but tells her to keep it limited to friendly bullying. Cecilia then walks out, and the two of them have a heated argument over Erica's inductance into the order. She hasn't completed her rituals, nor is she wearing a mask, which is why Cecilia will take them inside through the back door. The old dragon wants word with Jessica before they take any more steps, and we then see Cecilia hand over a spare black bandana to Jessica. Although Cecilia has a hard exterior, she cares about the order and, more importantly, Jessica. Jessica ties the bandana around Erica's face and tells her the first rule of the house. You always wear your mask inside the house, and she will wear the color black because she is Jessica's ward. Erica then steps inside the big house, and we see Jessica welcoming her to her new life. Something is killing the children. Issue number 17, The Meaning of Faith. Things didn't start well between Aaron and Erica, because while Cecilia, Jessica, and the old dragon were arguing about her fate inside the office, Aaron had shown up to tell Erica that she needed to pass a test in order to be in the House of Slaughter, and the only reason she is being allowed to stay here without passing the test is because Jessica felt sorry for her. For the first time, Erica's green eyes flashed with anger, and the next second, the halls of the House of Slaughter were filled with screams of agony. Cecilia and Jessica rushed outside, only to find Aaron on the floor, writhing in pain. Erica had kicked him in the nuts, and she'd found her mark. Jessica took the two of them away, but during this ordeal, Erica was able to get a good glance at the old dragon before Cecilia hastily closed the door. Jessica then calmed Aaron down, reminded Erica that this wasn't the kind of bullying she allowed with Aaron, and then began to walk away with the two of them. As she left, Cecilia reminded her that a car would be ready for them tomorrow at 6 o'clock a.m. They're supposed to go to a place called the Farm. We then see Erica walk through the halls of the house alongside Jessica and Aaron. They have posh dining rooms, extensive libraries, state-of-the-art computer labs, and of course, the white and black rooms. But there are more colours to the masks in the halls. People are wearing red masks, blue masks, and even grey masks. Jessica then takes Erica into the black room and tells her that this is their sanctuary and the only place in the house where they can remove their masks. Aaron tries to sulk and blame Erica for invading his sanctuary as well, but Jessica tells him to stop immediately. She can understand why Aaron is being difficult, so she pulls him aside and tells him what Erica has been through. She watched her parents die last night and is about to go through the initiation tomorrow. Aaron's expression changes and he decides to be easy on Erica. We then see Erica introduce the oldest member of the Black Hunters to Erica, Adelaide Slaughter. She was Jessica's and Cecilia's mentor, and there was a time when Cecilia wore a black mask. Adelaide is one of the legendary hunters in the Black Room, but she begins to cry when she sees Erica. Jessica wheels her away while promising to keep Erica safe in hushed tones. She then pulls a chair and tells Erica about the Order of St. George. Long ago, a village fed its children to a dragon to keep it from attacking the entire village. One day, St. George showed up, defeated the dragon, bound it to his will, and made the entire village swear an oath to God. Once they all took the oath, He killed the dragon. This is the public version of the story, but in the true version, St. George built a church in that village and started the order. The oath wasn't to God, but to the promise of protecting the world from monsters and to keeping their existence hidden from the rest of the world. This is the oath Erica will be taking tomorrow, and upon hearing this, Erica makes the promise instantly. Jessica sighs and tells her that it's not going to be that easy. The order will try to scare her and they will try to get the secret out of her, but she is supposed to maintain the secret and Jessica can't tell her more than this. She then tells Erica that once she survives the initiation, she will be given the tattoo of the Order of St. George and will begin her new life as one of them. Erica is excited about the tattoo, and this puzzles Jessica. Erica should be worried about the initiation, but instead, she is worried about where she'd like to get her tattoo. Jessica shows Erica her tattoo and then hugs her tightly without a warning. Jessica asks Erica to rest and that she will be staying with her until Erica is assigned her own room after the initiation. Jessica is holding back tears and she wipes them away and puts on a face for Erica. She then places Octo among the rest of the totems in the black room. Jessica's totem is a rabbit named Thumper, Aaron's is Hootie the Owl, and Adelaide's is a dog named Whuppy Puppy. She places Octo among them and tells Erica that the others should be able to calm him down through the night. She leaves Jessica in her room to watch DVDs and then heads out for a drink with Cecilia. Jessica is super drunk, clearly depressed, and despite what she has been avoiding all day, is now getting to her. There was a reason Cecilia was so adamantly against Jessica bringing in Erica, and it was because they both knew that the secret initiation process would kill Erica. Jessica cries and drinks through the night, and Cecilia does her best to keep her company. We then see Erica having another nightmare about last night. This time of the moment she was hidden in the cupboard, and when her parents had arrived home, her mother had panicked upon seeing Erica's dead body. She had frantically looked around for Erica, but was suddenly sliced in half the very next second. Erica abruptly wakes up and finds Aaron already there waiting to comfort her. He tells her that it was quite amazing that she almost managed to kill a monster on her own, and then gives her a tip for the initiation. He tells her that some of what happens tomorrow will be real, but some of it will be in her head. The monster feeds on her fear, and if she manages to control her fear, she won't get hurt that bad. Aaron then apologizes to her for being rude, apologizes for her parents' death, and leaves the room. Before he heads out, he turns back and makes Erica promise that she won't die tomorrow. He'd like a sister in the family of black hunters. Erica promises, and that's how their bond began. Something is killing the children. Issue 18, The Farm. At 6 a.m. tomorrow, we're introduced to Gary Slaughter through his morning routine. The first thing he does upon waking up is smoke a cigarette and curse his life. He then drinks a coffee, takes care of his dogs, and tends to the farm's needs. For some bizarre reason, he asks his aide, Buck, to look into monkeys that can sustainably breed in the upper Midwest of the US. Buck wears a blue mask just like some of the students back at the House of Slaughter. We then see Jessica arrive on the farm in her signature sports car, and Gary heartily greets her. The two hug, and she then introduces Erica to Gary. They go into the house for breakfast, and Gary's dog, Sparta, seems to love Erica. Through their talks, we learn that Gary is quite a laid-back man, but is in charge of breeding monsters on the farm to train recruits. He then asks Erica to go to the washroom before the ceremony starts, because it's going to be a long day. We then see him enter the remote barn on the property with a huge symbol of the House of Slaughter, and his dogs in the background begin to whine ominously. Jessica then wishes Erica a hasty goodbye, puts on her mask, and then remembers that she forgot to tell Erica the most important part about the initiation. When Big Gary asks for her name, she is supposed to say that she has no name. When he asks for her totem, she is supposed to hand over Octo. Erica then heads inside the pitch-black barn, and when Octo begins to growl and make a ruckus, she adorably shushes him. Gary sits in the middle of the barn on an altar, and the entire room is lit by nothing but 2 candles. He asks Erica to step into a marked circle on the ground and asks her name. Erica says that she has no name, and he then has her place Octo on the altar. Erica no longer calls the stuffed animal Octo because she knows what is trapped inside it. But Gary insists on using the same name because Octo protected her as a child, and what's trapped inside will now be forced to aid her as an adult if she succeeds. He asks Erica if she remembers the monster's eyes, and when she replies that she does, he asks her to picture them. Erica then remembers clearly seeing the monster's 19 eyes once it had killed her parents. That was the moment she had felt anger surge through her. She had held Octo so tight that one of its eyes was ripped out, and then she rushed out to attack the monster. Once Erica is focused on the image of the monster's eyes, Gary hammers the altar, and the monster inside Octo is forced into the circle with Erica. Upon seeing the fully grown entity, Octo swears, but then continues hammering the altar again. The monster screams, and so does Erica. Her nose begins to bleed, and when Gary hammers the altar for the third time, the monster becomes immaterial, and its essence flows into Erica. Her eyes glow bright yellow before she slumps to the ground and loses consciousness. Gary places Octo on her chest and then walks out. He blames Jessica for not warning him about the fully grown monster, lights a cigarette, and then involuntarily begins to shed tears. He knows they've sent Jessica to her death, and so the adults depressingly head back to the house to drink their sorrows away in the middle of the day. Something is killing the children. Issue number 19, Unapologetic Tidings. We see Aaron in his bed, getting woken up by Tybalt and Paris from the White Mask Hunters. They threaten him with a knife, bully him, and then punch him in the face. When Aaron begins to cry, they mock him for almost having a sister who will be killed today, and this makes Aaron spill the beans. He tells them that Erica almost killed a monster on her own and is worth more than the two combined. The confrontation would have grown quite heated had it not been for Cecilia stepping in and reprimanding Tybalt and Paris. She then asks Aaron to accompany her to the farm. If Erica survives, they'll be there to greet her and celebrate, and if she doesn't, they'll help clean up the mess, because Cecilia knows Jessica would be devastated in no shape or form to clear the mess. We then head to the barn, where Erica in her trance is reliving the moments of the night her parents were killed. She remembers leaving Octo behind and walking out, remembers stalking the monster, shedding tears when she saw her parents' dead bodies, and then turning that sorrow into resolve. She had grabbed the sharpest kitchen knife and had attacked the monster. She had slashed its face, cut its mouth, and then, when it had knocked her back, she had stabbed it in one of its eyes. But this is when her dead mother wakes up and asks her to go get help. She asks Erica to go to the neighbors for help. She screams, and Erica runs away. But then, just as she is about to enter their neighbor's house, she stops and remembers what Aaron told her. She remembers what Jessica said about the Order trying their best to test your resolve, and she realizes that the monster is tricking her into giving up the secret. She turns around and sees a huge yellow glowing octopus, a mirage of the trapped monster that confirms her suspicions. It tries to get Erica to fail, but the little girl is more resolute now than ever. She knows her parents are dead. She saw them die, and for the monster's sake, she recounts the rest of the events to mock its failure. She walks back into her house, lays down on the floor, and then tells the monster how Jessica had arrived once Erica had stabbed it in the eye. Jessica's arrival created a distraction, and Erica had used this to her advantage and had stabbed the monster in the neck. The monster had thrown her away after that, and Jessica had fought the remaining battle while Erica had hugged Octo as tightly as she could while wishing for all of this to end. Jessica had then asked for Octo, and after giving him a tight hug, Erica gave him a goodbye kiss and handed him to Jessica. Jessica had trapped the monster inside Octo after speaking in an unknown language, and that was the end of it. The reality around them has now broken down into nothing but yellow light. The monster in the trance has shrunk down into Octo once again, and Erica asks him, "You killed Mum, Dad, Becca. Do you feel sorry?" "No." "Okay, yeah, I guess we wake up then." And just like that, Erica wakes up in the barn. The monster inside Octo tries to dampen her spirits by telling her that there's no one around because they all expected her to die. But Erica nonchalantly picks him up and walks out. After all, she did survive, and now her eyes are laser focused on what comes next. Something is killing the children. Issue number 20, Against All Odds. Jessica is having a rough time, especially now that she's drunk. She confesses to Gary that she can't do this job anymore, seeing children getting killed, giving them hope only to snatch it away, eats at her. Gray confesses that his job isn't great either. He has to force children he loves to fight monsters in order to train them, and when they die, he is the one who has to fetch their bodies and burn them in the woods. He tries to reassure her and pours himself another drink, but that is when Cecilia arrives, and she isn't happy that they're day drinking. But Jessica is so distraught that the sight of Cecilia fills her with joy and she hugs her. Jessica then realizes Aaron is here as well and quickly apologizes to him for being drunk and not the perfect mentor. Aaron doesn't mind it, but he minds that all the adults are talking about Erica as though she's dead. He screams at them, and Big Gary is the one to intervene and calm emotions. He tells Aaron that they were wrong for talking about Erica that way, but in this instance the cards are stacked against her. She is in a trance right now with a real monster, a monster that has killed and tasted blood, a fully developed monster with God knows how many kills under his belt. There's a reason the Order now takes time to select recruits after rigorous testing of personality traits. There's a reason modern-day recruits are given totems with new monsters that have never killed before. It helps avoid unnecessary casualties. However, Aaron argues that in the old days, recruits were selected by trapping real monsters in totems, and that there is a chance that Erica might survive this. Jessica and Cecilia both counter his argument, and it seems that only Aaron is the one hoping Erica survives. And that is when his wish is granted. Erica shows up to the scene flanked by Gary's dogs, and everyone erupts with joy. Gary rushes to Erica, lifts her up, and promises to make her the best lunch she has ever had. Jessica hugs her and cries, and even Cecilia shakes Erica's hand and tells her that she did a great job. She then leaves to prepare the house of slaughter for Erica's inditence, and we then see Aaron confess that he was the only one still holding on to the hope that Erica might survive. Erica had heard everything, and after a bit of awkward silence, Aaron asks Erica if she's finalized a spot for her new tattoo. We then see Erica getting the tattoo from Big Gary on her right arm. They talk, and we hear Big Gary welcome her into the Order and wish big things for her. These dreams are contrasted by true moments of Erica's life when she managed to achieve them all. The day she would get the teeth on her black mask, the day she would complete the rite of trepanation, get stabbed in the head with the Horde gold and get to see monsters as an adult. And then she would become the most feared hunter. Big Gary realizes through Erica's responses that she doesn't know much about the Order, so he decides to give her a crash course while tattooing her. The different coloured masks signify the different roles Order members play. Scarlet masks are in charge of bookkeeping, tracking the lives of hunters, their deeds, and other logistics to make life easy for all of them. The blue masks, or azure masks as they are known, are modern-day support teams to aid hunters in the field. They hack, trace, and make things go away from the internet and print media. The black masks are the lone wolves, hunters that hunt alone. They are trained to take down monsters all by themselves, the Swiss army knife of the hunters. The white masks are hunters that hunt in packs. They are trained to attack in groups and handle some of the biggest monsters. This, however, inflates their ego, but in reality, if a white mask was tasked to hunt even the smallest monster on their own, they would fail. This was Gary throwing shade on the white masks because he doesn't like them like Erica. He then tells her about silver masks, who are trained to hunt specialized monsters with a very specific identity. Such monsters include werewolves, vampires, poltergeists, etc. But with modern thinking and the death of folklore, such monsters are rare, and so are the silver masks. It's the reason why there are only 2 in the House of Slaughter. He then tells her about the emerald masks, the most dangerous hunters in the Order. They are trained to kill dragons, but they are rare as well, because dragons are rare. Gary tells her that there are only a few emerald masks in the entire world, some in the old country and some in Asia. Once the tattoo is complete, Gary snaps a pic of it, and Cecilia then ushers Erica away because the old dragon himself is here to meet her. The old dragon starts the conversation casually, offers Erica a gummy worm, and then taunts the monster in her totem for being bested by a child. But he then diverts the conversation and tells Erica that she survived such a huge monster because she is a monster herself at this young age. He guesses that she was likely a troubled child who was too much for her parents, and then tells her that she lacks empathy, which is why she was able to defeat a fully grown monster. He tries to tell her that this is his way of complimenting her because these are the traits he has been searching for in his hunters for years, but every word he utters is like a dagger to her heart. Before Erica can do or say something stupid, the old dragon gets up and leaves, and that is when Jessica comes in to console her. She assures a crying Erica that neither is she a bad person, nor is she a monster. In fact, she is so cool that even Jessica wishes to be like her. She then picks up Erica in her arms and walks away. Something is Killing the Children, issue number 21, The New Hunt. A year later, after the events in Archer's Peak, on the outskirts of Tribulation, New Mexico, Gabby Lopez, a preteen covered in blood, sits in the back of Sheriff Thomas Carter's car. Although Thomas knows Gabby wasn't involved in the murder of her family based on the security footage, Gabby relentlessly demands a lawyer and refuses to divulge what she saw on the premises. Gabby's trauma has turned into stubbornness, and the mere mention of her grandmother brings her to the verge of inconsolable tears. Thomas tries to implore her to confess what she saw again, but Gabby simply swallows her tears and sadness while demanding for a lawyer again. At dusk, Ricky opens up her bar named The Luck of the Irish and serves her regular customers Luis and Pablo. That is when Gabby walks in and demands a drink, and the sight of her being covered in blood from head to toe sends chills down everyone's spine. Thomas arrives and tells Ricky about the murders, and the shock of this news causes her to weep. He asks Ricky to foster Gabby for a few days, because they are practically family. He then recounts what he found at Wolf Waters, the natural hot spring facility run by Gabby's family. As Sheriff Thomas recounts his own version of the events, Gabby begins to remember what she found when she came back. Gabby had fought with her mother, and after a brief getaway, she had come back to apologize. But what waited for her was the gutted dead body of her grandmother behind the counter. There were humanoid footsteps covered in blood leading to the back of the facility, and when Gabby had followed them, she had found the mangled bodies of her mother and sister. She had then heard footsteps on the other side of the pool, and when she turned to look at the source, her heart skipped a beat. It was a humanoid figure carrying the body of her other sister. This is when the sheriff's narration and Gabby's memory stop because she screams for him to shut up in the bar. She hates his description and her memories, so in anger she walks up to Thomas and kicks the stool from under him. He slips, hits his head on the bar and begins to bleed. Thomas has had enough. He screams for Gabby to grow up because he is the only one trying to help her in this situation, and inconsolable and weeping. Gabby simply screams, "Fuck you" at Thomas, and then runs out of the bar. Ricky tends to Thomas, and he apologizes for being harsh on the child, and Ricky tells him that he needs to slow down and let her process a few things. We then see Gabby run out of the bar as flashes of the moment she saw the humanoid figure come back to her like a disease. The figure had no face, and when Gabby stared at it, it stopped and looked back at her. Instead of eyes, its shoulder splits open, and a huge eye stared right back at her from the inside. Gabby had let out a guttural scream when she saw that, and in order to push this memory away, we see her sit on the curb and break down once again. But that is when Erica shows up and says, "Hey, wanna talk about it?" Something is Killing the Children, issue number 22, Clash of Insanities. Hundreds of children, some dismembered, others deliberately killed, all covered in blood, lie propped in a remote house outside England as a man walks towards the kitchen. The children have pins stuck in their eyes to keep them open, and expressions of agony plastered all over them. A monster's remains also line the house while a woman pours tea for herself and her totem. She is covered in blood, but her smile is content, and when the man reaches her, she tests his resolve by chucking a knife at him. The man is from the Order, but instead of using the mask to cover his mouth and nose, he uses it to cover his eyes and hair. This man is Albie Cutter, and the woman is Charlotte Cutter, and she has just been assigned the case of Erica Slaughter. She needs to find and kill Erica, and so she sets out for America the very next day. We then see Erica trying to talk to Gabby using her usual tactics, but the teenager is as stubborn as ever. Gabby instead storms away from her at the mention of monsters and tells Ricky in the bar that some pedo with big green eyes is trying to hit on her. However, when they head outside, there's no one there, and when the two butt heads, we learn Ricky used to date Gabby's aunt, who is no more. Erica, meanwhile, has extracted all the information she could from Bill, the front officer at the police station, and Thomas catches a glimpse of her as she walks away. Bill told her everything because she pretended to be from the press, and they frankly need all the help they can get to solve the murders that plague their town. The department won't answer their calls, and thus Thomas doesn't mind Bill oversharing. Thomas asks Bill to keep in touch with Benji at the crime scene while he takes a power nap, and we then see Gabby butt heads with Ricky again when the latter is trying to tuck her in. Ricky smokes a lot, and Gabby uses this to take out her anger on her this time. However, when Ricky is gone and Gabby can't sleep, she takes a peek outside. They live right across from the crime scene, and she spots Erica sneaking her way in. Gabby screams for Ricky's presence while Erica confronts her totem at the crime scene. This monster isn't an Oscura type, it's a duplicit type, and it takes an entire pack of white masks to take them down. However, that is when Benji ambushes and arrests Erica for trespassing, and she decides to go with him calmly. However, this means leaving her totem behind. Something is killing the children. Issue number 23, The Wish from a Devil. Erica makes the one call she gets from the police station and calls Big Gary. He is now old and quite sick, but has been helping Erica and erasing her presence from the books since the incident at Archer's Peak. She tells him about the duplicit type and refuses his idea of sending in the white masks. She instead wants him to find out how black masks in the past took out duplicit types and promises him that she won't die. Big Gary has been helping her because he hates how the House of Slaughter handled things with Jessica and her. The call ends, and we then see Ricky is forced to leave Gabby alone at home the next day because she has to open the bar. They argue again, but Ricky can't take a kid to loiter around the bar all day. We then see Erica meeting with Sheriff Thomas, and he buys her story of being a New York Daily News because he's desperate for help. Erica tells him to think of the killer as a predator rather than a serial killer when he confesses that he has no leads. She then learns about the area's abandoned and remote hot spring resorts and remembers how Gary had told her that duplicitypes like their food warm. Teenagers tend to spend their time at abandoned hot springs, and this is when Erica asks for a map of the local area. Thomas hands it over, and when Erica tells him that she wants to save the children, he lets her go. We then see Charlotte arriving at O'Hare Airport, and an angry woman in front of her is screaming about how impolite and nasty England was on the phone. She even cribs about Charlotte being a bitch because she asked her to keep her voice down, and this is what snaps Charlotte. We see Cecilia is there to escort her to the house, but under the pretext of needing to use the washroom. We see her hand over her totem to Cecilia and then follow the angry woman into the washroom. Moments later, she emerges and orders Cecilia to clean up the mess. Though Cecilia is surprised, she orders a cleanup nonetheless. We then see that Charlotte likes to play mind games a lot because she forces Cecilia to confess that she wants Erica dead, no matter her reasons to deem such a verdict necessary. Once Cecilia confesses, an evil smile spreads across her face and Charlotte says, "I'm here to make your dreams come true, dear Cecilia." Something is killing the children. Issue number 24, Hated Alliances. A couple cribs and argues on their vacation in the hotel room while their children listen in on them in the hot spring outside. Then the duplicitype begins to slowly emerge from the woods. And though the children think that it is a person at first, as it gets closer, they realize that the person doesn't have any facial features. When it gets near them, its stomach opens up to show a huge eye with horrific teeth all around it. The children scream and scramble as the parents rush to their aid. We then see Gabby sneaking into the crime scene using a hidden key. She tries to make amends with her family cat, who has always hated her, and then gathers all the things that she is going to need, including a family photo. She then pours out some food for the cat and leaves out the back. Upon seeing the outline and the blood of her mother's body, Gabby breaks down and screams, "Why the fuck did this happen?" And that is when Octo answers her and sinks his metaphorical teeth into her. Meanwhile, Ricky texts Thomas to check on Gabby because she isn't picking up her phone. She lights another cigarette, and that is when Erica visits her posing as a reporter. Ricky quickly sees through her lies because there are no articles by her on the New York Daily News website, and she knows that Erica was the one who talked to Gabby the other day in the parking lot. Things get heated, and Ricky pulls out a shotgun on Erica because she refuses to believe her claims, and so Erica is forced to lay it out for her. If Erica doesn't do what she does, then children will continue to die in this town and no one else will come to help them. Ricky is confused, but this is when we switch to the House of Slaughter. Activities carry on like they usually do while behind closed doors. The old dragon brings Charlotte up to speed. His information about Erica and her betrayal is contrasted by a photo of teenage Erica, Aaron, and their mentor Jessica when she was still alive. Charlotte throws shade on Jessica for not training Erica properly, and Cecilia's emotionally invested response to her remarks gives away that her, Jessica, and Erica were close to each other. Charlotte even manages to one-up the old dragon by reminding him why the houses have names. It's so that they don't use their first names in front of each other. He should simply call her Cutter. She then tells them that she needs to find the mole in House of Slaughter who is still helping Erica. Erica managed to kill 8 monsters since the events of Archer's Peak, and though Cecilia tries to intervene, the old dragon grants Charlotte unabridged access to all their resources, including access to all the the internal, private conversations of the House of Slaughter. She takes his gummies and menacingly munches on them while saying, "Oh yes, I always get what I want." Something is killing the children. Issue number 25, The Devil on Your Heels. We start by catching up with Charlotte. She is being driven to New Mexico by Maxine and is well aware that Maxine was assigned as her driver because Cecilia wanted to keep an eye on her. She tries to get under Maxine's skin by pointing out the black mask she stole from Aaron's body, but Maxine does her best to keep her calm. Charlotte hints that she knows Maxine wants to be a black mask, and that is when we see the young hunter falter with her words. We then see Octo talking to Gabby, and he manages to goad her into exacting revenge. He convinces her to hunt the duplicityper for killing her parents. Gabby thinks she's having a mental breakdown because she is talking to a stuffed toy, but she decides to go along with it nonetheless. We then see Erica trying to convince Ricky that she is here to help, but Ricky has a hard time buying everything that Erica is saying. Monsters, Gabby's reluctance to open up, Erica's ominous arrival. How could the killings and all of this be tied to monsters? Erica tries to be upfront. She tells Ricky that she needs Gabby to lure out the monster and complete the ritual, but this only complicates things further. But when Gabby calls Ricky to tell her that she is following the instructions of a stuffed toy octopus, that's when things kick into action. Erica snatches the phone and orders Gabby to ignore the octopus, but being the rebellious teenager that she is, Gabby simply cuts the call. Erica then demands Ricky to accompany her. They need to search all the nearest hot springs to Wolf Waters in order to save Gabby, but Ricky is skeptical. This is when Erica pulls out the only ace up her sleeve. Ricky can either help Erica with this random goose chase and save Gabby, or ignore her and mourn Gabby's death. She just has to take this chance and believe that whatever Erica's saying is the truth. Ricky agrees, and the two of them head out to search for Gabby. We then see Gabby get into the hot springs where the duplicitype has made its recent kill. Octo leads her inside, but when she has eyes on the monster feasting on its latest victims, he conveniently stops talking. Octo has just led Gabby to her death, just like Erica had promised. And when Gabby screams at Octo to talk, that is when she is spotted by the duplicitype. It's now more defined, its features are now more discernible, and its head splits open to reveal a huge mouth full of fangs as it drools for Gabby. It gets up, its torso splits open to reveal the huge eye, and it begins walking towards Gabby. She puts her head down and curses herself for being so stupid, but that is when Erica jumps over the fence and kicks the duplicitype directly in the face. She slices its face, and this is when it snarls, and its head splits open completely to reveal a huge two-layered feeding tube. Erica fights the monster and orders Ricky to rescue Gabby, but she can barely understand what's happening. Erica is fighting thin air, and when she watches Erica's arm get slashed open by seemingly nothing, she is even more confused. The duplicitype runs away after injuring Erica, and when Ricky rushes to her aid, she reveals that the monster is only visible to Gabby and her. They decide to get Erica help before she bleeds out, but another monster awaits her when she gets into the car. She gets a call from Charlotte, and she is currently at Big Gary's place, busy torturing him and hurting the dogs that Erica loves. Erica wants straight answers, but this is all a big game for Charlotte, and the game has just begun. She lets Erica apologize to Big Gary for roping him into this and then slashes his throat while Erica is still on the call. She then cuts the call abruptly, leaving the only black mask of the House of Slaughter devastated in Ricky's car. Something is killing the children. Issue number 26, painting with different colours. We see Erica exhausted and on the verge of death in Ricky's old bedroom in her mum's house. She tries to make sense of what happened, but Erica has nothing new to tell her. It was monsters. Monsters that are invisible to Ricky and the rest of the town. Erica tries to get up, but she has a few broken ribs and a heavily stitched up arm. Ricky's mum did her best to patch Erica up, but she needs more rest if she is to get back in the field. Ricky leaves Erica to rest on her own after seeing how defiant she is about stopping the monster. And that is when Octo tries to tell her that she needs to run because Charlotte Cutter will kill everyone in this town who is associated with her. We then see Ricky have her own family scuffle with her brother Johnny, who keeps Gabby company and plays cards with her. Johnny resents that their father left the bar to Ricky and hates her because she loves women instead of men. Their mother tries their best to keep things civil, but when Ricky tells them that she's going to shut down the bar for a few days, all all hell breaks loose. Their father never let the bar close his entire life. Yet Ricky was breaking that tradition here. Ricky defiantly leaves the house, and when she is gone, Johnny decides to fetch his Xbox so that he and Gabby can do something better than play cards. However, when he leaves her alone, Gabby decides to spy on Erica, and this is when she catches her having a conversation with Octo. Octo is trying to convince Erica to leave this town because Charlotte Cutter will kill her and everyone associated with her, including Gabby. But Erica, being who she is, tells Octo that she can't leave the town without killing the duplicitype. The problem is that Erica wasn't a great student, which is why she doesn't remember how a duplicitype is killed, and now that Gary's dead, there's no way for her to research the same. Octo tries to convince Erica again, and for a moment, it seems that the monster that killed her parents might care about her, but Erica is resilient. Even if the monster grows strong with every kill, she isn't going to turn her back on this town, even if she doesn't know how to kill the monster. Johnny returns to find Gabby drained of words, and we then see Ricky shutting down the bar. However, that is when Sheriff Carter Thomas calls her and orders her to show up for questioning. The security footage places her, Gabby, and Erica at the latest crime scene, and Ricky no longer gets the special treatment she was entitled to for being Thomas's school friend. Thomas is furious, and Ricky has to reluctantly give in to his demands. However, that is when Charlotte Cutter shows up on the crime scene posing as Interpol. She has a badge and the credentials to prove her fake identity to Thomas, and she deals the first blow in this game of deception by painting Erica as a serial killer that Charlotte has been hunting across continents. Something is killing the children. Issue number 27. Promises. Ricky takes a moment to sit on her truck on the town's outskirts while reflecting on life. She remembers the time she spent with Gabby's aunt, Fernanda, at this exact location. Fernanda had revealed that she had cancer and had made Ricky promise to always protect Gabby once she was gone. Ricky reluctantly agreed and sealed it with a kiss, which is why she has decided to do what's best for Gabby now. She returns home, orders Gabby to pack up because they're going to see the sheriff, and then goes to fetch Erica. Erica has heard everything and she knows it's best to comply with Ricky's demands, but she also tells her about the duplicitype, how it gets more powerful the more people it kills, and the more people it kills, the more it has the power to look like any other ordinary human. Once it has achieved that power, hunting it is going to be very hard. Octo tries to warn Erica about Charlotte again, but she says that she will run away once the job has been completed. Octo realizes this is a death wish because Erica is now tired of running after having conducted her business under the covers for the last year. We then see Charlotte being informed of Erica's capture over the phone by Thomas, while she is currently holding a child captive in a pool of warm water. The idea is to lure the duplicitype so that she can help it transform. Charlotte, however, is a psychopath, which is why she gets carried away while the duplicitype is killing the child. Her totem has to remind her that they need to trap it while it's in a frenzy, and that is when she reluctantly pulls on a cord that traps the monster in a box with mirror on all sides. The idea is to help the monster transform into the thing it fears the most, but Charlotte isn't ready for what happens next. The monster transforms into Erica with frenzied yellow eyes, red scars all over the body, and a huge eye in the torso. It fears Erica the most because she was the only one able to hurt him since his inception. Something is killing the children. Issue number 28, The Weakest Link. Ricky drives Gabby and Erica to the police station in silence, while Gabby questions Erica about her decision to give herself in. Gabby heard what Octo was saying, and Erica tells her that Octo lies to people because he can't kill anymore. As a monster, watching them die is the best way it can satiate itself, but it was right about running away from Charlotte Cutter. Erica should have done that, but saving the children in this town is more important to her, and Octo knows that. It's why he told the truth. Because sometimes the best way to hurt someone is by saying the truth. When they arrive at the police station, Thomas arrests Erica and orders Ricky and Gabby to come in for questioning. Gabby tries to protest and scream while Ricky does her best to get Thomas to see the truth, but he believes Charlotte more than them, which is why he screams for them to stop playing games with him and get inside. Erica tries to talk to Thomas before Charlotte gets her, but he simply stays out of the interrogation room and orders Bill to get them all coffees. Ricky and Gabby argue in Thomas' Thomas's office, and Gabby desperately tries to get Ricky to see the truth. There are monsters, and they hunt children. Ricky saw Erica get hurt by one, and Erica wasn't scared by it at all. But the mention of the Cutter woman scared her, which is why they too should be scared of what's about to happen. But by the time Gabby has convinced Ricky, it's already too late. Charlotte has arrived at the police station, and when Ricky tries to leave, she realizes that Thomas has locked them in. Charlotte walks into the station and manages to make her way to the interrogation room without any issues, despite 5 officers being stationed in the lobby. She convinces Thomas to begin the interrogation now, but as soon as they walk in, she slams his face against the door and knocks him out. Erica is now scared, and she should be, because Charlotte isn't going to end this so easily. She wants to play with her prey, and she starts by using Thomas's gun to break her nose. She then comes clean and tells Erica that the plan is to frame her and blame her for the 5 officers murdered in the lobby. Thomas will also blame her for knocking him out, because she will be gone when he wakes up. Charlotte will cower and tell this story from the locked interrogation room, and Erica is going to go along with this plan because she wants to save the children and kill the monster. If she decides to stay here and tell the truth, she will risk more lives. Charlotte walks away laughing, and Erica simply screams and pulls on her handcuffs, realizing the helpless situation that she is in. But then she calms herself because she knows what she needs to do. Something is killing the children. Issue number 29, A Dragon's Move. The issue starts with Bill in the coffee shop trying to hit on the barista while getting coffee for all the officers. The barista turns him down, and Bill heads back to the station only to find everybody murdered in the front lobby. Erica approaches him from behind, disarms his gun, and tells him the truth. She tells him about Charlotte, how she killed everyone in the police station, how she's going to frame Erica, and how she is not who she seems. However, the only way to verify all of this would be to contact Interpol using a number that is not connected to the police. She tells Bill to do so and verify her story, and she then leaves the station with Ricky and Gabby after breaking down the door to their locked room. Charlotte might be winning for now, but Erica now has something that will give her the upper hand. She has Charlotte's totem, her beloved doll. We then catch up with all of the members of the House of Slaughter. They're on the farm attending Big Gary's funeral. His dogs watch silently and longingly as Gary's body is lowered into the grave and dirt is poured on top. There's rage in Cecilia's eyes, and this rage manifests itself in a nuanced yet heated conversation with the old dragon that night. The old dragon then reveals why he demanded Charlotte Cutter's help. It's because she is a problem for the Order. She creates a huge mess and kills people for fun, and cleaning up after her is only going to be tolerated for so long. She is a problem, just like Erica, and if one of the problems goes away with this confrontation in New Mexico, then the Order will be content. It won't matter whether it's Charlotte or Erica. The old dragon then removes his mask and reveals to Cecilia that he is dying. If she is to take up the mantle of the old dragon after him, she needs to start thinking like a dragon. Although he simply hints at it, Cecilia figures out that this was a long con played by the dragon to help Erica get back into the House of Slaughter. It would save her life, earn her the trust of the Order once again, and ensure that she is no longer hunted by the Order in the future. Cecilia heads back into the house, stares at the chair where Big Gary was tortured, stares longingly at the old photograph of her, Jessica, and Big Gary, and then decides to pull the trigger. She puts Paris in charge of looking after the white masks while she is gone, and orders Tybalt to keep her current whereabouts scrubbed off of the books. No one needs to know where she is going, especially the azure masks of the house. When Paris asks about the secret flight that needs to be booked, Cecilia reveals that she is going to New Mexico. Something is killing the children. Issue number 30, The Calm Before the Storm. Tommy has now woken up, and paramedics are currently cleaning up all the bodies from the police station. He can't believe Erica was able to brutally murder all the officers, and Charlotte bolsters his belief by telling him that this is the reason Erica is one of the most wanted murderers on their list. However, Bill has been doubting every word Charlotte utters, and she seems to catch up on this fact. Thomas suggests putting out an APB to apprehend all of them, and that is when Charlotte remembers that she can't hear Dolly's voice. She checks her bag and realizes that her totem is missing. Her fake exterior begins to break, and the monster inside begins to surface. And when Thomas asks her to focus on the task, Charlotte becomes a monster. Her eyes darken, and she screams at the top of her lungs for them to find her Dolly. We then see Erica, Ricky, and Gabby driving to the bar. Gabby is tormented by the 2 totems totems telling her that she is going to die, while Ricky and Erica head inside to grab the guns. Ricky gets her shotgun and gives Erica her dad's old 45mm revolver. She then makes Erica promise that Gabby is going to survive this ordeal. Unfortunately, Erica knows better than to commit to such promises, and so in turn, Ricky swears to hunt Erica down and kill her in case anything happens to Gabby. Erica understands, so we catch up with them at Ricky's uncle's ranch the next day. It's not exactly his ranch, he simply works there, but the owners rarely visit the property, so the three of them can work here in peace. Gabby and Ricky talk about life, and then eventually talk about Gabby's aunt and Ricky's love, Fernanda. Gabby has fond memories of her, and this reminds Ricky of what she promised Fernanda before her death. Gabby then says that she isn't afraid of death, just like her aunt, and this visibly shakes up Ricky. She involuntarily cries and screams at Gabby to be more mindful of her words and life, but the teenager thinks that being unafraid of death is a badge of honor. This confrontation is broken up by Erica the very next second when she calls them inside. She has set up a map of the area and all the possible spots that they could use to lure the monsters. She also tells them about the Order and how it likes to maintain the secret rather than helping people. She tells them about her absconding from the Order and that Charlotte is here to hunt her down. Charlotte isn't here to kill the monster. In fact, she is likely going to use it to her advantage to take down Erica. They need to figure out how and where Charlotte is going to do so. However, Erica doesn't know that Charlotte has already made her move on the monster, because when two local teenagers, Owen and Jimmy, go for a swim in an abandoned hot spring, they end up finding the half-eaten body parts of the child Charlotte had kidnapped earlier. Their horrid screams attract the duplicitype, who now conveniently looks just like Erica, except for the huge yellow eye in its torso. Something is killing the children. Issue number 31, An Uncaged Monster. We see Owen giving his testimony to Sheriff Thomas. He tells him how Erica hunted them and how she ripped Jimmy from limb to limb. The teenager isn't able to ascertain that it is a monster, so when a sketch is commissioned, it turns out to look exactly like Erica. However, when Thomas questions the mask, Charlotte breaks down and mistakenly reveals that Erica is one of them. When Thomas tries to probe her, she holds him by the collar and screams, "Shut up! I need you to put out an APB for Erica Slaughter. I want her face all over the fucking news. I want every little piggy in uniform for 100,000 miles hunting her." Dolly's loss is getting to her, and she excuses herself to go to the bathroom in order to calm down. Bill decides to test Erica's theory, but Thomas has too much on his plate to worry about Charlotte right now. We then see Charlotte tersing and having a breakdown in the bathroom. She wants to be like Erica, and she justifies Erica's bravado through her mask. She convinces herself that Erica is stronger and able to face the monster because she wears a mask. And so Charlotte pulls out her bandana, wears it in the traditional cutaway, and unleashes the monster inside her as a way of coping with her mental breakdown. She vows to kill everyone that stands in her way because her totem has been stolen. Her totem is the most precious to her, and she breaks the mirror and transforms into her true self and vows to hunt everyone down. We then see Ricky and Gabby at one of the abandoned hot springs. Gabby's being forced to step into the hot water in order to lure the duplicitype. When Gabby questions the need for such a step, Erica tells her over the radio that the duplicitype likes its blood warmer than the normal body temperature, which is why Gabby needs to go in the pool. She also reveals to Ricky privately that Gabby likely aided in the creation of the monster, and it's the reason why it let Gabby live when she found her dead family. Gabby reluctantly gets in the water, and although she hates having Ricky around at first, she is scared once she is in the water, so she requests Ricky to step in with her. Erica, meanwhile, is busy crafting homemade explosives and Molotov cocktails, which gives Ricky and Gabby the chance to talk about their feelings and what really needs to be done. Gabby needs to finally confront her fears in the hot water to lure the duplicitype, and this will not be easy. We then see Bill head into the coffee shop. He coerces the barista and manages to borrow her phone to make a call to the real Interpol. He manages to get in touch with them and even manages to ask the question that has been burning at the back of his mind. Who is Charlotte Cutter? Is she really for Interpol? But when the operator puts Bill on hold, Charlotte shows up on the scene, strangles him using a whip, and vows to kill every last one of the people that have decided to go against her, and then kills Bill. We then see Dolly try and get into Erica's head by telling her that Charlotte's speciality is hunting humans and not monsters. It's what she loves, and she has killed at least 1,000 this year. But this has no effect on Erica. After all, she has been ignoring her totem all her life. She picks up Dolly, throws her outside, but that is when the familiar voice of Cecilia greets her, and Erica pulls out a gun on her. Cecilia tries to make amends by accepting her mistakes, but Erica is filled with rage, and she blames Cecilia for Jessica's death. Cecilia mourns Jessica's loss, but hasn't forgotten that Erica played a big part in it either. However, Cecilia isn't here to talk about the past, she is here to talk about the future, and this leaves Erica speechless. Something is killing the children. Issue number 32. Revenge of the Adopted Family. Erica hesitates to shoot Cecilia, which is enough to make Cecilia realize that Erica is conflicted. She invites Erica for a drink, and Erica reluctantly follows her. She offers Erica the books on duplicitype that Big Gary had sourced for her, pours a drink for both of them, and then reveals that she stopped drinking the day Jessica died. But now, she has decided to end her sobriety to honor Big Gary's death. They both raise a toast to him, and that is when Cecilia reveals that she has been conflicted about confronting her emotions all her life. This is why, even though Big Gary, Jessica and Cecilia were close, Jessica was always his favourite. Cecilia resented Jessica for this all her life, but she never wished for her death. But it's her fault that they're both dead, that Big Gary died at the hands of Charlotte, and it's all because she wanted Erica dead. Erica is conflicted by Cecilia's statement, and she simply says that she is telling Erica all of this because a dragon doesn't sit back. They act. She then nudges Erica to realize that Gabby is a tough teenager. She's just like Erica, and Erica should recruit her and take her destined seat on the council as the leader of the Black Masks. It might also give Erica a chance to torment Cecilia all her life. But these are all riddles to Erica, and she asks Cecilia to speak clearly unless she wants to be shot. Cecilia sighs and lays everything out for Erica. The old dragon is sick, the disease is spreading, which is why he left a door open for Erica, because he has always been fond of her. She tells Erica that the Order would be happy with Charlotte or Erica's death as long as the secret is maintained, and this is the opening Erica needs to return to the House of Slaughter. Erica is still defiant, resulting in Cecilia finally letting out her anger. She screams and wishes that it was Erica who died instead of Jessica and Big Gary, but things are the way they are because she slipped up and invited Charlotte into their tussle, and now that she has killed Big Gary, she wants Charlotte dead because the woman killed the only person Cecilia ever cared about in her life. Cecilia wants her to die a painful death, and this is when she reveals the ace up her sleeve. She pulls out 5 vials of a toxin Cecilia and Big Gary designed back in the day. It is specifically crafted to kill duplicitypes from the inside out. Duplicitypes cannot be hurt. They are shapeshifters. You can stab them, cut them, blow them to pieces, but they will always reform. And every time they reform, they get stronger. Every time they kill, they get stronger. And thus you need something that kills the creature from the inside. This is where the toxin Cecilia and Big Gary developed comes in. It takes time to do its magic, but it does the intended job nonetheless. Erica thanks Cecilia and thinks that the toxin is just for the duplicitype, but this is when Cecilia swats her hand away and ominously tells her that she wants Charlotte to die the most painful death. The toxin kills duplicitypes, but it makes life a living hell for humans. They writhe in pain for 24 hours before turning into a pulp and dying. This is the fate she has deemed worthy of Charlotte, and she wants Erica to finish what she started in the most fitting way possible. She then ensures that Erica knows how important it is for her to kill Charlotte, because if she lets her live and survives herself, it would mean that the House of Slaughter will have to hunt her down, and this would force Cecilia out of retirement. She would happily wear the black mask again and hunt down Erica around the world meticulously. After all, she managed to find her in New Mexico within an hour of her plane landing. Cecilia walks out without another word, and for the first time we see that Erica has been left speechless. The nonchalant, stoic monster hunter who laughs in the face of danger has real stakes on her hand that scare her. She watches Cecilia leave, bids her a silent goodbye, and then gets the best surprise of her life. What she thought was a monster at first turns out to be a lonely, wild horse that has decided decided to greet her. She forms a bond with it and calms it down. She then hugs it, and as Erica gets closer to it, she begins weeping like a child. We then see the memory that caused this influx of emotions to finally break her exterior. It was the night she was alone with Big Gary as a teenager after Jessica had been through another mental breakdown after excessive drinking. This dream reveals that Jessica was prone to self-harm. She was struggling with her emotions and was on the verge of ending her own life. What's more is that although they all pretended that Erica was only with Jessica for backup, in reality, she was a mess and would spend her days at Big Gary's farm while Erica went out and completed the missions for her. Big Gary wanted Erica to talk to someone about the weight she was carrying, but she never confessed her struggles to anyone. She needed to keep this a secret because she was the only one who could. Big Gary had told her even back then that even though Cecilia seems to have a tough exterior, deep down she loves Jessica. And even though Erica may not like it, she's part of the adopted family Erica now has. Aaron, Jessica, Big Gary, and Cecilia are all Erica's family now. Erica had refused the beer as a 17-year-old back then, making Big Gary realize that she was a mix of Cecilia and Jessica. They had been Erica's unwilling parents while she was in the House of Slaughter, and their influence was clear as day. When it came to her job, Erica was like Jessica, a lone wolf that carried all the weight. But when it came to mental resolve, she was like Cecilia. Nothing could break her. That day, Big Gary had ensured that Erica remembered she was still a kid. He had hugged her and had told her to ease up and let go once in a while. Even though Jessica and Cecilia have trouble doing so, they know the importance of struggling with your emotions and doing the right thing. It's all the hunters have. It's all they have in this life they have chosen, because otherwise there's no point to any of this monster hunting business. We then see the horse's eyes, and you can see the concern in them, and it's all because this memory has broken Erica and she's bawling like a child, just like Big Gary had instructed her to do every once in a while. Something is killing the children. Issue number 33, The Real Monster. Gabby and Ricky have almost completed the ritual at the hot springs. Gabby just needs to recount the events of the day she lost her family one last time, and she then needs to cut herself. Gabby remembers everything defiantly while cursing every chance she gets. Once she's done, she grabs the knife from Ricky and cuts herself. She clearly processes fear with anger, and the more scared she gets, the more angry she becomes. Ricky hugs her, and Gabby finds comfort in her arms for the first time. They then get in the truck to return to the farm, and for a moment, Gabby suspects something weird is happening in the truck bed. She decides to ignore her instincts, and the two of them drive away. We then see that Gabby's instincts are spot on. Charlotte is hiding in the truck bed. Thomas, meanwhile, is in the middle of the town, getting the statement of another child that the duplicitype attacked. Neither the sheriff nor her mother believe the girl's vivid descriptions of the monster, who looks like Erica, but she does her best to describe the things they were. The duplicitype tried to eat her, but it was suddenly distracted by something. The picture her words paint shows the duplicitype as Erica, but with huge fangs in its mouth and around the big eye in its torso. Thomas walks out of the house only for his officers to tell him that Bill and Charlotte have gone missing. Thomas is at his wit's end, and with nowhere to go and nothing else to do, he decides to follow Erica's lead and orders one of the officers to fetch him one of the old paper maps of the town from his office. Thomas drives away thinking everything is good, but once he is gone, we see every child in the neighborhood cowering behind closed doors and windows. The duplicitype walks through the streets unabashedly, and it is hungry for only one thing: Gabby's scent in the air. We then see Erica practicing her skills with a bow and arrow while a bunch of arrows soak in the toxin Cecilia left for her. She isn't good, but is getting better with every shot. After all, she is still nursing her arm that was ripped open only 2 days ago. We then see Gabby and Ricky arrive, and although Ricky is about to open the tarp over her truck bed, thankfully she is distracted by Gabby's squeals, who is fawning over the horse Erica managed to tame while they were gone. Erica has named him Gary, and she orders them to stay away from the toxic arrows and the explosives she crafted in the shed. Charlotte uses this distraction to make her way into the house, and she is then united with her totem, Dolly. She then picks up Octo and offers to free the Obscura type inside if it stays quiet. Octo seemingly agrees, and when Erica, Gabby, and Ricky enter the house, Charlotte hides in a closet. Erica orders Gabby to sleep and seemingly realizes something is wrong when she finds Octo on the floor beside Dolly. When Octo says that they're all going to die, Erica unfortunately fails to fathom what he is trying to hint at. When Gabby reluctantly decides to try and sleep, Erica reveals the plan to Ricky. They are going to strategically place the explosives in the yard outside and lure the duplicitype to them once it shows up. However, the monster they should really fear, Charlotte, is listening to every word they say from a closet beside them. Something is killing the children. Issue number 34. Underestimation of the worst kind. The sun shines brightly as Erica and Ricky discuss what they must do when encountering the duplicityper. Ricky is on edge because she can't see the monster, but that is when Erica tells her that it should look like a ghost to her, now that it has killed enough. She should be able to see it like a shimmer in the hot air, like a ghost in broad daylight. But in reality, Ricky's worried about Gabby. All she can do is hope they all get to see tomorrow after this confrontation. Erica's in the same boat, and we then see a frustrated Gabby wake up because she can't force herself to go to sleep. Unfortunately, that's when Charlotte makes her move, and although Gabby tries to run away, she's no match for a trained killer. She screams, and her voice barely reaches Ricky and Erica out in the field. Ricky promptly abandons Erica to go check on Gabby, but Erica doesn't follow her because she can see the duplicitype on the horizon. It looks like her, and this sends shivers down her spine. Ricky, armed with just a shovel, beelines for the home, and unfortunately, as she enters it, she is yanked to the floor by Charlotte using her trademark whip. Gabby is on the floor crying, and all Ricky can do is ask her to scream. Erica, meanwhile, has been missing every shot she fires on the duplicitype, and it continues walking as if the arrows were a minor inconvenience. After her third shot, Erica hears Gabby's scream, reminds herself what truly matters, and rides Gary back to the house. She can see Charlotte holding Gabby and Ricky hostage, and this time Erica knows she can't miss the shot. She steadies herself, takes aim, fires, and for once it seems she isn't going to miss. But Charlotte could see this move coming from a mile away. She simply moved out of the way and caught the arrow, and that is when she smelled the toxin on it. What does the toxin do? Well, the only way to find out is by testing it on a live subject. And who could be a better subject for this experiment than the loudmouthed teenager? Charlotte grabs Gabby and stabs her in the torso with the toxic arrow, and all Erica can do is stare helplessly from afar. Something is killing the children. Issue number 35. The bitter, bitter end. Seeing that Gabby has been stabbed, Erica abandons everything and rides head-on towards Charlotte while ignoring the monster. She leaps on top of her and punches her head until she has broken her nose. Ricky runs to Gabby's aid and helplessly tries to comfort her while crying endlessly. Even while on the ground, Charlotte doesn't stop mocking Erica. She blames her for Gabby's death and then quickly grabs a stone and hits Erica in the head. The hit was brutal, and Erica is dazed enough for Charlotte to kick her easily and then pull out the hoard gold from her head using a knife. She then gloats. "The Order of St. George tried to teach you to be a monster, but I did better than them. I taught a monster to be you." As she says this, Erica spots the duplicitype slowly creeping towards them, and Charlotte's taunts are enough to force a new life into her. Once Erica is out of her daze, she headbutts Charlotte and knocks a few teeth out with a spinning kick. Charlotte is still being cocky, and Erica promptly puts her in her place with a well-placed uppercut, followed by a quick dodge which leaves enough room for a counterattack with Charlotte's knife. Erica stabs her in the gut, and when a desperate Charlotte on the verge of death tries to gloat that it won't matter because Gabby's already dying, Erica beats her face into a pulp using Ricky's shovel. Charlotte's long dead, but Erica gets a few more hits in, just to be safe. After all, Charlotte does deserve to have her head ripped open like a pumpkin. Erica then turns towards the monster, but all she sees is a blurred mirage. The hoard gold is gone, and she can no longer hear or see monsters. Gabby knows this, and she is about to die a menial death. She is Gabriela Lopez, and just like her nana, her mother, her sisters, and her aunt Fernanda, she is a hurricane woman who will go out with a bang. With tears in her eyes, she overcomes the pain, gets on her feet, and then runs towards the monster. Erica is trying to fight it, but the lack of vision means she's missing each shot, and with each missed shot, the duplicitype is slashing her body. When Erica is about to pass out from the fifth hit, Gabby shows up and begins to berate the monster. She blames it for her family's death, has a therapeutic screaming match, but when the duplicitype realizes that it was Gabby's scent that drew it here. He simply bites and rips her right hand off. Gabby screams in pain, but so does the duplicitype because the toxin in Gabby's blood is now infecting the monster's veins. It screams and screams. Its flesh writhes in agony, and then, with a final shout, it falls to the ground as blood oozes out of its every pore. The monster is dead, but so is Gabby. Erica holds her in her arms, and the teenager passes away proudly because she just killed a monster, and now she's going to meet her family. However, it's not over because Ricky is inconsolable and mad at Erica for letting Gabby die. She forces her off of Gabby, and all Erica can do is apologize to Ricky and walk away. We then see Cecilia arrive on the scene the next day and pose as Interpol. She frames the duplicitype's body to be Erica's and frames both her and Charlotte as psychopathic serial killers that the Interpol has been hunting for a while. Thomas doesn't believe any of this, but he has no choice, especially with Cecilia ensuring that new money pours into the town through different grants and donations. She then orders Paris and Tybalt to report to the Order that both Erica and Charlotte are dead. Charlotte's totem is being brought back while Erica's is missing. Tybalt stupidly tries to poke holes in the story and then gets quickly reprimanded by Cecilia. Once she has walked away, Paris punches him for being a prick. We then see Ricky trying to tell Thomas the truth in his car, but he doesn't believe her. But Ricky knows that Erica is still alive, and she blames Erica for Gabby's death. She had promised Erica she would hunt her down if anything happened to Gabby, and so, now that Gabby's dead, she is going to kill Erica. We then see an injured Erica with a wrapped head boarding yet another bus going towards yet another town to hunt yet another monster. Only this time, she seems broken, and for the first time in her life, seems to be willing to listen to Octo. Something is Killing the Children, issue number 36, One for the Road. These last 5 issues are stories that give us an insight into Erica's character before she was presumed dead by the House of Slaughter in the last issue. 5 years ago, Jessica was hunting an Oscura type in northeast Minnesota who had killed 2 kids but had then mysteriously stopped. She was being helped by a kid named Randy, and one night, when he was sneaking supplies out of his house to her, she found a scared and abandoned female St. Bernard. Upon earning her trust, the dog led Erica to her baby, and this is when Erica put 2 and 2 together and realized that the Obscura type might have been a result of the puppy's fear instead of the kids. It would explain why so many dogs had recently gone missing in the area. Aaron had of course been a little shit and hadn't entertained her theory. In fact, he had reluctantly promised to cover for her while she chased wild geese just like Jessica. The mention of her mentor angered Erica enough to break her phone, but she finished the job nonetheless. She used the puppy to lure the Oscura type to her, and once it showed up, she tied the puppy to its mother using a makeshift cradle and sent them away. Erica then killed the monster as usual and asked Randy to take care of the puppy and give it lots of love. When Randy naively asked her if she was going home, Erica flashed back to her memories with Jessica and the times they spent together. Erica no longer had a home. Her home was Jessica, and unfortunately, she was dead. Something is Killing the Children, issue number 37, another one for the books. This is the story of the time Erica had killed an Obscura type in a superstore in Flat Rock, South Dakota. The store was empty, and she had simply shown up to it with a little girl while being covered in blood and looking for her preferred weapon, a chainsaw. The store had 2 underpaid employees, and they were the ones who noticed the automatic doors opening again once Erica had walked through, but nobody or nothing entered the store. Erica then talked with Aaron and ordered an electric and cellular blackout, and once that was done, she left the little girl in charge of the 2 employees who couldn't see the monster and got to work. They hid in the locker while Erica fought the monster outside, and the confrontation was momentarily interrupted when another employee named Francie walked in through the door. And although the monster had snapped Francie's arm, Erica had used this moment to her advantage and had stabbed it in the head. The job was finished, and although ideally, according to the rules, she should have murdered all the employees who saw the entire thing, she let them go because this is what Jessica taught her. There's no need for unnecessary kills. She let them live, warned them that a lot more meaner hunters would come after them if they spoke about this incident, and then simply walked out with the little girl. Something is Killing the Children, issue number 38, The Better Way of Handling Things. This is the story of two mischievous girls who ran away from their big sister after clipping her hair. They hid in their treehouse only to find Erica passed out in it. They played with her stuff, checked her bag, and even took her mask. They even attended Aaron's call and told him that Erica was hurt, but they simply disconnected when he tried to push and berate them into helping her. Octo once again tried to coax the kids into hunting the monster themselves to watch them get killed, but thankfully, that is when their big sister found them and she panicked when she realized that Erica was hurt. Erica woke up when the big sister tried to patch up her wounds and then quickly took control of the situation. She handled Aaron when he called again, told the three of them a cover story of how she was drunk and was bitten by a dog, and then packed up to leave. She even managed to fix the big sister's clipped hair by evening them out, because that is something that she used to do for Jessica. She then warned the kids about wandering the woods at night and left to complete her job. Something is Killing the Children, issue number 39, Therapy. This is one of those rare stories where Erica decided to visit a therapist. She visited him because she had begun to cry a lot, which was unusual for Erica. She didn't cry when her parents had died and never cried when she was bullied in the House of Slaughter. But now, just like Jessica, she had begun crying every night and she needed a way to fix that. Through their chat, we also learn that Erica thinks Jessica was weak because if she wasn't, she'd still be alive. Erica is angry at Jessica, and we get the first hint of how Jessica died when Erica flashes back to the memory of embracing her dead body. Jessica was missing an arm, had huge gashes on her abdomen, and Erica was bawling like a child while holding her. All little Erica could do at that time was apologize to her now dead mentor. The therapist had refused to help Erica suppress her emotions and had instead told her what he tells children who deal with death. Sadness is a tool our brain uses to remember and ingrain the moments from our life we love the most. It's a way to remember those you've lost. It's a way to remember what hurt you the most so that the next time a situation arises, you don't repeat it. Erica was happy with this explanation, and as she left, she paid the therapist a couple $100 to cover a few sessions for the 14-year-old girl she just saved. The therapist knew that Erica was a good soul, so he forced her to take his card, even if she would never return for another session. Something is Killing the Children, issue number 40, Guns. This is another story centered around Jessica, and it starts with the memory of her training Erica to use a gun. Erica likes to use knives to kill the monsters, but there's a reason Jessica is teaching her how to use guns. It's because there are many different kinds of monsters out there, and most of them are humans. We then see Erica feeding ducks in a public park when Aaron pays her a visit. Erica had gone completely off the grid a week ago, and Aaron, fearing the worst, had tracked her down. The recent job has traumatized Erica, and for the first time, we see Aaron take care of her. He worries for her and cannot imagine life without her. They might fight, but that's what siblings do. Erica finally opens up to him and tells him about the girl she was protecting and this particular Oscura type that she was fighting. It was a slippery one, and it had managed to escape the traps she had set for it numerous times. And because things were this dire, the little girl kept telling Erica to use the guns her father has in his locker. The code is written on a post-it note beside it, and they can easily use it to hunt monsters. Erica decided against it, and instead coaxed into a quarry and blocked the entrance to ensure that she could finish the job. But this Oscura type was a tough one. It had already killed 4 children, and taking it on alone was a bad idea. Erica fought it until she couldn't anymore, and that is when the girl stepped in and decided to confront it on her own. She had stolen one of her father's automatic rifles, but she never knew about the safety being on. She fiddled with it, and all Erica could do was watch helplessly when the rifle went off and shot the girl directly in the head. She was alive for a minute or two after that, and her fear was enough to lure the Obscura type away. As it began feeding on her body, Erica finished the job. However, the damage was already done. Erica weeps, and Aaron places his hand on her back. She continues confessing that it was after the girl's death that she realized that the girl's fear came from her dad. She didn't fear the dark or monsters like the other kids, but her dad. Erica was so angry that she was about to kill the girl's dad while he slept, and was only able to stop herself at the last moment, all because she realized that she was going to be surrounded by death for the rest of her life. There's no point adding to the tally, but the worst part? The worst part is that the girl's name was Jessica. Aaron now fully understands what finally broke Erica, and he simply pulls her in for a hug. This confession and this tiny hug was more than enough for Erica to recover. She wiped her tears away and focused on the only good she could do. She could continue saving children, and that's what she decided to do. Marvelous verdict. Something is Killing the Children is a fun new take on the age-old concepts of dark machinations and monsters under your beds. It answers and explains complicated problems while keeping plots simple and exciting. The world of monster hunting is a dark one, and the writers have ensured that it is vast and vivid. The world is filled with members of the Order of St. George, providing enough material for future storylines. As for Erica, she is a likable and relatable character with enough personal issues to keep her on the edge of sanity. Her fight to save lives while every part of her life forces her to take them is what makes us root for her. And the cherry on top of all this is the comic's art. It is consistent throughout all the 40 issues and uses haphazard strokes and colour schemes marvellously. You won't know it, but as you continue to read, the lines and colours have a massive impact on the storyline. It differentiates between action and emotional scenes and provides a much-needed background for flashbacks and memories. Still, most of all, it adds to the continuity and the consistency of the plot lines. And Erica's story is far from over. Where is she now? Who is going to help her in the Order now that she is presumed dead? Will she be Cecilia's hidden hunter when she becomes the dragon, or will she continue to hunt her down? And who are the Emerald Masks, and what kind of dragons do they hunt? Many more answers are expected in future issues, so if you're looking forward to them, make sure you subscribe to the channel for future videos in this series.